Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joe Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is now episode 391. In this episode, we're going to preview the AFC North. Can the Ravens finally get over the hump? How will a healthy Joe Burrow look with the Bengals? Can the Browns overcome a subpar Deshaun Watson? And the Steelers ceiling with Russell Wilson. Fellas, how you guys doing?
Sounds like great content. I feel amazing.
What a day.
This weekend for us has just been a really entertaining weekend. We had OG on the show a couple days ago.
You guys showed for OG.
Showed immense love. Shout out to love y'all showed us too, of course. Shout out to OG. For pulling up. We was at the pool party yesterday. That was a nice little vibe. My brother in Christ lost his voice because he got drunk too fast, too much.
Nah, me and Riv pulled up at like 5.
He's
he
punched.
Was gone.
Yeah,
he was gone.
Y'all are gassing.
No, we saw your eyes. We're like, bodied.
Y'all are gassing.
I knew he was really punched when we were playing basketball in the pool, and I could just feel it. I'm like,
you know what it also was? Maybe my eyes look crazy because I was in the pool and naturally, salt water and shit. So maybe I did look crazy. I didn't feel
drunk.
Yeah,
you were drunk. You definitely had a 5.
Your eyes looked drunk.
I only had like 2-3 drinks at that point.
No, when we got there, you took a shot, 2 shots after.
When y'all got their facts, the shots started to go.
And then we looked at your eyes after. Me and Dehls was sitting there. We're like, yeah, he's done.
I definitely got active yesterday. I definitely got bodied. My voice is bad.
Yeah, it can tell. As soon as people listen to it,
it's gotten worse.
As soon as people listen to it, they will know that you had a pretty insane
It was
night.
yesterday, but then of course also this morning. If you guys are watching now, we recorded the Riv versus John. We won't reveal who won.
Great day to start.
It was a great game. A great fucking game.
Down to the wire.
But I obviously lost my voice for a reason. We were getting crazy. It was awesome. There's probably already a clip out on TikTok, on Twitter,
on
Instagram. That clip is all time.
Did we post it on TikTok?
It got to
because those are the main people who say we can't play ball. Those are the main people.
I love that you started with that, Riv, because we have had an amazing weekend.
Really have.
And I love that OG came on the show. First time we met him in person, he was
crazy
nice,
awesome.
Very humble. Every time he's on the show, it's a great time. But most importantly, how the audience responded to it.
Hell yeah.
The episode is doing really well right now in less than 24 hours, over 20K views.
Crazy.
And everybody loves OG. We love OG for a reason. We love talking basketball with OG. So I think it's not only us making great content, but it's the audience receiving that great content and noticing the work that we're putting in too.
Hell yeah.
Because we're doing a lot of work. And speaking of hard work, today is Sunday. We're recording this AFC North preview because, we got to give some football content to our audience. It has been a while.
We'll say the basketball content's been awesome for us.
It's been
the
awesome.
aura in the room when OG was here with all 5 of us, you felt it. It was there.
That is for sure.
Felt bad. John said, I wish I was there.
He did. Someone commented under him and saying, it's one of those, you'll never guess who was at school today. That shit killed me.
Damn, John.
But what I love the most about having OG on, it honestly felt no different than when he was on the computer.
Exactly.
Just same dude, was perfect in conversation with us. The energy was honestly what you expected.
He
was chatting.
He's been on that way for a minute though. He has been on that way.
At least I kept it 100. I was like, I used to be with you.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same way anymore, but he stood on business.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I did.
First player ever.
One thing that bothers me is whenever the comments, they try to pin basketball against football. We have commenters that say, football is king. I got to talk about football. And then the basketball fans come in and say, nah, fuck football. I love both.
I love both, too.
And honestly,
such a long off
season. It is. And there's a lot of time where nothing happens with football, where basketball, the offseason just happened.
Right now, USA is about to start.
Yeah, the NBA Finals happened. Then we got the draft. Then we got all these trades. DeMar DeRozan's on the Kings. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Summer League started yesterday.
In the show.
Yeah,
it's so much stuff. And then there's really not that many
football,
months
Super Bowl ends. You got a month, and you got free agency. Then you got another 2 or 3 weeks. It's the combine. Then another month is the draft. And then from basically May 1st to August 1st, there is no content. And then you get training camp.
That's crazy because in basketball, it's so much. It's really no dead air because even if there's no NBA stuff, you still got the high schoolers still playing. You got to watch them. The college players are playing.
And basketball is jumping during the NFL offseason because you got the playoffs, you got the finals, and all the player movement.
They did a smart thing with that, I'll be honest.
You think about the NFL after the season ends, in between the end of the season, the playoffs, I should say, And the NFL draft is like, what, 3 months in between
February
that time?
to
It's a strong,
basically end of April.
Is a lot of time. It's good because you get to actually lock in and look at these prospects. With basketball, the season ends and it's like, oh shit, I have 2 weeks to look at all these guys that are about to get drafted. So, football does a good job at spacing it out. But today's show is going to be an AFC preview. We got to warm up to the NFL. It's going to be a preview, but throughout the offseason, our agendas will be pushed for this upcoming season like they always are.
My agendas are always the same. I need new ones. I need to get in the lab.
The
and
only
find
one
some
I'm
new
really
ones.
adding is just the Colts.
Okay.
Anthony Richardson.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
Chicago. Like, I'm rooting for
I'm
Caleb
with
too,
that
but
one.
I feel like there's so many people rooting for number 1 overall pick and shit.
We're back though.
Oh, AZ.
We're back.
Oh my fucking God, we're back.
We're back.
We're here.
We're back.
It's solidified. We're back.
I'm here.
We're pushing agendas. We're second seed, third seed. We'll talk.
Yo, imagine.
But it's
second seed.
in the
Imagine.
division.
Second place. Second place.
But for sure, we're back on that vibe. But let's had a good day today. We did play the 1-on-1. I can't wait for y'all to see that. It was a great game.
Subscribe to the Patreon. Only way you're gonna see it.
Only way you're gonna see it is
$1.
It's literally $1.
It's only $1, and if you pay that $1, not only are you going to get that 1-on-1, it's releasing July 15th, but also throughout the NFL season, we will be doing the pick-em.
Yep.
And the champion is Dehls. He's the reigning champion.
a legend.
Defending my belt.
Yeah.
Weak
And I'm
ass
trying
belt.
to win the championship.
You came in what place again?
Third.
No, he didn't.
I thought it was last.
He did.
No.
Weren't you guys tied?
No,
We were tied for a little
Didn't you
bit.
pick the Niners to win the Super Bowl?
Also,
Might
we're
have
counting
won.
Super Bowl. We're counting playoffs.
Oh,
too?
for sure.
Oh, okay.
I thought we wasn't.
After the regular season, was it
I
tied
think
or
I
was
won.
he
It was
up?
tied.
Oh, it was
Okay.
tied? Oh, so yeah, respect me. I was down.
You were down.
I was
Well, you
down.
were
I
taking
came back.
Chicago against the Chiefs
and I've admitted it.
He talked
I
crazy and I
definitely
bounced back.
did not lock in on the pick'ems the way that I should have. I was very locked in fantasy. It impacted me tremendously.
Weak ass excuse.
You didn't have the
Fucking
Dolphins lose a
fantasy.
game last year.
I was
That was
11-7.
the-
Not bad.
The 7 counts. That
does.
7 is the
I didn't pick
difference.
against Baltimore.
You picked them against the Chiefs, the Bills. I mean, you picked
Chiefs was a good game.
The Eagles.
Bills was a good game. Eagles, Tyreek sucks. Simple.
the Ravens. the Ravens.
The Ravens, Tyreek sucks.
Wasn't that a blowout?
No, it was crazy. Nah, the Ravens offense did whatever they wanted.
I remember Drew said something to me one of these last episodes. He said, I'm the NFL king, but I can't feel like the king until I get that championship.
I respect
And
that.
until I get that
Try and go back to
championship,
back.
and that's what I'm aiming towards this year. That's my goal. But we did have that 1-on-1 today between Rivers and John. We're gonna show a highlight of it right now.
Should have fucking drove when he looked.
Kept the dribble.
Okay.
Wow, Riv, how do you feel about that?
It was tough. I definitely locked in at that moment. Played up tight defense. Apparently, I fouled him 3 times. I didn't
Hilarious.
see 3 times. I fouled him once for sure. Gave him a little tap on the arm. We played in the park. Gave him a little tap. He went to the basket. Was there every time. He did the spin. Spin didn't work. Reached in. He went up.
He's tough for not calling foul and
Yeah,
saying,
bucket.
and one, bitch.
Yeah, he had some tough buckets. I won't say in cap. I thought John was trash. He's not trash.
He's not trash.
Yeah, he had a
He's
couple
not
tough
trash.
buckets. He's not trash at all.
Looking at the replies on the Twitter thread from the video, they got one that says, "My man is practicing kung fu." A screenshot of John with his hand on the floor. We got respect John comments. Yo, John is a demon. I thought you were gonna hit him with the nutmeg at John Tortorelli. Tough bucket though. No one. John with a Spider-Man meme. I'm not gonna wait 2 weeks. Zero weight is crazy. Y'all have to drop. They want us to drop, but you gotta wait the 2
We'll
weeks.
drop clips here and there.
Yeah,
up
we
until
will.
15.
We will. We'll promote it for sure.
We got to clean it up.
But today is Sunday. We're recording this AFC North preview just to let everybody know what's going on. We're also recording another episode today, same day, because I'm going to El Salvador soon. I'm going to go on a vacation, but we're all going to have a little mini vacation because we're going to do these episodes and then we're just going to drop this content for next 2 weeks. So we don't got to worry about it. We
We're
need
recording
a break
tomorrow too, right?
Yeah.
We are recording tomorrow.
Yes,
Recording
tomorrow. Yep,
3
yep.
days in a row. Or
Do
no,
it.
we took yesterday off. We're supposed to
Needed
record
that.
yesterday.
Had to.
Yeah, after you stood up till 10 a.m.
Brother texted us like 2. Yeah, I just finished. Yeah, go to sleep, bro.
Text us like 7, bro.
No,
It
he
was like
texted us
7,
at
8
2.
a.m.
We probably not going to record tomorrow. I got to stay up and edit this.
Oh, yeah.
He texted us at, like 6, 7.
Damn.
It's done. I'm not recording today, and I did not blame you.
Yeah, it's just a tedious process, but now we know the interface to get.
Do you guys want to start off with some fun?
Yes,
trivia?
yes.
All right. I love this.
We didn't do that with OG, and honestly, that would have been fun.
We locked right in.
OD, we really got into the show, and we just started chopping it.
Chopping it, for sure. So, the AFC North has produced some pretty good talent, especially in the receiving department. Can you name me the 10 guys that have the most career yards in the AFC North?
Rushing.
Receiving.
Oh, all time.
All time.
Chad Ochocinco.
Yep.
He is number 2. You have 2 strikes, by the way.
Okay. 2 strikes. So let me just think. We got the Ravens, Steelers, Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown is number 1 with 11,207. Are you looking stuff up?
No, I'm just looking at the teams in the AFC North.
AJ Green comes in at number 4 with 9,430. Career was robbed.
How many we get? Top 10? We're doing the top 10?
So you have 1, 2, and 4.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Hines Ward.
Hines Ward jumps in at number 3, 9,524. So you have the top 4 locked. I think it gets a little harder after that.
Okay, so I'm just thinking Baltimore really does not have a ton of receivers that are standing out to me. Even throughout their history.
2 guys up here.
Are they including? Does Anquan Bolden count?
Is this just with the specific team?
AFC North.
I'm saying yards with this team.
Okay, because I was gonna say Anquan Bolden definitely has
Cardinals.
a good enough. Yes,
Yeah,
he did a lot with the Cards.
Okay, so who do we have? So we have AB, we have AJ
You have the
Green,
top
we have
4.
Hines Ward.
Yeah,
Why is
AB.
Husmanzada in my mind?
He's
in my mind
up
too.
there.
Shh, set your turn.
Let me think.
Oh, we're going round table.
Yes.
Round
Got
table.
it.
There's just so many Steelers that I'm thinking because they just produce so many wide receivers.
There is one Baltimore guy.
One ball.
There's one guy on the Ravens.
One Baltimore guy.
Okay. I think I know who it is.
I think I know, but I'm not confident.
He's actually the only guy that could be up here.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Is it new school or old?
No.
Okay, then it's not who I'm thinking of.
Because the Ravens are a fairly new team.
Because I was thinking Torrey
Come on,
Smith.
Dehls. Clock's ticking.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of just past.
Let me start by
Steelers.
saying Anquan Bolden is not on this list.
I didn't think so.
He's not even top 25. That's actually nuts.
Is it all receivers or got any tight ends?
We have a few tight ends.
In the top 10?
We have 2.
Do we have Heath Miller up here?
Oh, number 5. There we go, Dehls.
That's
He
a great
has
pull.
6,569 yards. Lock in, Drew.
I really want to say Husmanzada, but I can't. I don't know. I don't know why I can't feel confident in that one. Fuck it, I'll take a strike for us. Husmanzada.
He's something at number 7,
Yeah,
5,952 yards.
Dante Stallworth.
No clue who that is, but he is not on this top 10 list.
Stallworth did some crazy shit.
He's
if
not
I'm
on the
thinking
top
of the right
25.
guy.
I don't see his name.
Yeah, I'm looking. Dante Stallworth. I'm looking at the stats right now because he played. Nah, I bugged out.
I
Okay.
thought he played with the Pats.
Strike 1. Dehls. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5.
he actually got into some bad stuff. Dante
7.
Stallworth.
Can you tell me who had? You don't tell me the player. How many yards does the 10th player have?
10th?
Yeah.
He has 5,000. Everybody after
Okay.
10 has 5,000. So these are
Are
5,000
you better
guys.
let Jettis fly?
Jealous.
No, I'm sorry, Jamar.
If it's 5,000,
He's not even close.
But 5,000's
Jamar's
not
probably,
close.
Jamar's probably close.
He's probably like at 3,000 or
4.
4,000.
Jamar's at
4,000.
3,700.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to think who
He's
the
at
other
15.
I'm just trying to think who the other tight end could be. I was thinking Mark Andrews, but I don't think he's got 5,000 yards.
Take a swing.
I feel like you're trying to trick me. All right, Mark Andrews.
You're wrong. He's at 11 with 4,857. So maybe if he played all year.
If he was healthy.
There's
all last
another
season.
tight end here.
Yeah. Oh, you said there was 2. I thought.
I honestly couldn't tell you what this guy was.
Is
really
he
feel
from
like-
Baltimore?
It doesn't tell me. It just tells me all these guys in the AFC North.
'Cause
There
here's
is
the
one
thing.
guy in Baltimore, though, that I know for sure he played for Baltimore.
And he's nice.
Couldn't tell you if
Clearly,
he was nice or not, but he has 5K.
Here's the thing. I thought a tight end, Todd Heap immediately came to my mind because that was the Baltimore. Actually,
You're cooked.
Todd Heap, really.
Yeah, is he a tight end?
Yes.
He's the next tight end.
Let's
so he's the
go,
only one.
Drew.
He has 5. He's 10.
10.
He had 5,286.
We got top 4. We got 10,
You
5.
have 10,
right?
5, and 7. So you need 9, 8, 6.
All right. Come
9
on,
and
Joel.
8. 9 played a little in the 2000s. 8 played in the mid 2010s, and 6 is still in the league.
6
Interesting.
is still in the league.
You'd be surprised at this. He's a cooker.
Okay, so thinking about people that are still in the league.
One Raven.
I got.
one Bengal.
Okay, I got
one
one name in
Steeler.
mind.
Okay, just thinking about Ravens wide receivers. Hollywood Brown is not my answer, but he comes to mind when thinking about Ravens receivers. Torrey Smith comes to mind when I talk about Ravens receivers. The Cleveland Browns, Josh Gordon, maybe, but I don't think he played enough to have the yardage. So I'm not going to go with Josh Gordon. With the Steelers, you got Hines Ward, I mentioned him. You got Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, y'all mentioned. Santonio Holmes, I don't think he's in here. But then the Bengals, man, is it Tyler Boyd?
You're a cook. Yeah. Number 6, 6,000 flat. Tyler Boyd. Yeah, I was shocked he's up here. So now you need 8 and 9. A Steeler and a Raven.
8 and 9. A
Steeler and a Brown.
Raven. Oh, wait.
No, I said Steeler and a Raven.
Oh, I thought it was Brown. No. Apologize. All right. Steeler and a Raven.
99% sure he played for the Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe.
I know you threw out Santonio Holmes, but he's definitely in my mind because you said one of these guys played in the 2000s, right?
Yes.
I don't know if anyone else would have passed him as a Steeler in the 2000s in terms of receiving. Heath Miller, but we already said him. I really don't got any other names. So Santonio Holmes?
No, he was a place ahead of Jamar Chase.
He was 14.
Yes.
Mike Wallace isn't a bad guess. So you said Steeler, Raven. That's all we have left.
Yes.
Okay. The Raven is really hard for me.
Holmes has 3,835.
Oh, so he wasn't really close.
The Raven, I'm really blanking. I don't know any legends off the top of my head.
Not many in the receiving department for them.
Yeah, like that's why the only one that really is coming
even
to
now. Don't get wide receivers.
Go get CD.
Like Torrey Smith was Torrey Smith that good? I don't think he was that good. Mike Wallace makes sense. He was with Pittsburgh for a little while.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he was there enough.
Yeah,
because he left after his first contract, I want to say.
Damn. This is all time or recent? This is all time.
All time AFC North.
But he said I think it's 2000s and 2010s.
The two guys right now, 2000s and 2010s. The Tyler Boyd was the only one that's still playing now. So the other two are gone.
Fuck. Torrey Smith.
He is not on this list. No, he is 18 though. 3,591, right below T. Higgins.
That was a great guess. That was honestly going to be my guess. We got a Steeler and a Raven. I am going to go with Antoine Randall.
Good guess.
Unfortunately, he is not on the list at all.
Oh,
that was a name that was in my head.
Definitely a name you remember, but he's not on the lane. Surprisingly, Deontay's up here.
Deontay?
He's at
Johnson?
Yeah, he's at 12.
I got my strikes ready. I got 2 strikes.
Yeah, I got 2 strikes ready too. We all got our 2 strikes.
Brother, it's up to you.
All right. Damn, I wish you would have guessed Mike Wallace instead of Randall L. But I get it. I understand. That wasn't a bad guess. Fuck it. Mike Williams.
Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
He's on the list.
Mike Wallace.
He's at number 8. 5,807 yards.
All right.
Now you need the Raven. Yeah.
I'm
Raven.
cooked. I'm going to give it a go, though. I know this player for sure.
I don't want to see. I'm trying to think.
Wow.
We're dumb?
No, we're not dumb.
I don't think you'd get it.
When I said Dante Stallworth, I was thinking of him. I just didn't know his name.
Interesting.
He's like, if you know ball, you know him.
The reason why I didn't think it was Mike Williams was because he only played Mike Wallace. My bad. I didn't think it was Mike Wallace because he only played 4 seasons with the Steelers.
He played 94 games.
That's what facts.
But he had 4,000 yards and 32 touchdowns.
He was OD.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ravens.
The thing is, he played with Baltimore too. Mike Wallace. Yeah, facts. That it added on.
So
he had 1,000 with Mike Wallace.
For this name
with the Ravens. Jesus,
I forgot.
2000s receiver through and through. 2000s receiver through and through, and think more early 2000s.
Yes, straight Baltimore vibes. He is the leading receiving player for Baltimore. He has the most receiving yards for Baltimore.
Yeah,
it's very hard because you don't know who has that, but he's the guy.
Here's the only one that's in my head too, and honestly, it's probably not right.
Here we go.
Shannon
who?
Shannon Sharp. That's
it's Derek Mason.
Nope.
Yeah.
He has 5,777 yards.
I wouldn't have got that name, but okay.
So the top 10 guys who have the most receiving yards in the AFC North, period. Antonio Brown at 1, Chris Johnson at 2, Hines Ward at 3, AJ Green at 4, Heath Miller at 5, Tyler Boyd at 6, TJ at 7, Mike Wallace at 8, Derek Mason at 9, Heap at 10. Solid list.
It's a good list.
Jamar Chase could eclipse a lot of these guys probably.
Oh, hell yeah.
This year.
What was AB was number 1? I don't know.
AB has 11,000.
AB.
You know who's going to eclipse that list? Jamar Chase. Zay Flowers will eclipse that list as well.
Zay Flowers going to get 11,000 receiving yards.
He's not even in the top 25.
No,
Zay Flowers?
He's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
Josh Gordon, 41 games, 3,000 yards.
No, he's a legend.
What a guy.
If Zay Flowers stays in Baltimore for like 5 more years and averages 800 yards, he could very well be in that list.
Plaxico Burress is on this list.
Shout out to Plax.
3,000 yards essentially.
Yeah, another Steeler.
Last guess was a Raven. We're going to start off with the Ravens in this AFC North preview. The overwhelming question for them is, can this be the year that the Ravens finally get over the hump? I look at their roster. I know they lost a couple things, but I still feel the same way about them. I think their ceiling is the best team in the AFC North. You look at what they have. Lamar Jackson had the most passing yards he's ever had in his career on his highest completion percentage. Zay Flowers, 862 yards as a rookie. Put up 116 or 118 yards against Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed in the divisional round. And he really, I think, is poised for a year 2 breakout. The offense, they got the weapons. The offensive line is a little bit of a question, but their defense, even though they lost Patrick Queen and Mike McDonald, the real reason why they became a top 5 unit was because of Roquan Smith. And Roquan Smith is still there. So I think their defense is still going to be elite. I think because the Ravens lost in the playoffs, we kind of overemphasize that they lost, but not the fact that it was really close. It was a L'Jarius Sneed knocked out fumble on Zay Flowers away from really being in the palms of the Ravens with how the momentum of that game was going. And if they made the AFC Championship game, they could have very well went to Super Bowl, and we saw them dominate San Francisco earlier in the season as well.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens ceiling is a 13-4 team. I can see them being 9-8 if they get some injuries, but that's really the only thing. In terms of just how great they are, I know they have a tough schedule, but this team is still an elite team, and it's going to be one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah, the Ravens play, apologize, Joel. The Ravens play all great competition at a very high level. I want to speak quick because I shouldn't be talking that much, truthfully. The Ravens play all high-end talent, the best of their ability, and obviously 9 out of 10 times they come away with the W unless they're playing Kansas City in the playoffs, which is understandable. Kansas City goes up against all these guys, and they just know how to handle business come playoff time. But with the subtractions on the offensive line, you do lose Patrick Queen, you do lose McDonald to Seattle. There are definitely going to be some hits coming into this season, but you still do have a great group of talent, whether it is on the offense. You mentioned that you believe Zay Flowers is going to have a breakout. Now you get Mark Andrews back, hopefully for a full season. The two of them should be a great duo together. And they keep saying Rashad Bateman, he's poised for a breakout. I need to see it to believe it. I've just been burned with Rashad a few too many times. But when he's on the field, he's a good ball player. Defensively, I don't expect much to be different. I know McDonald was a genius, and yeah, they'll probably take a dip in that regard. But, I mean, this is still one of the most talented groups in all of football. To me, this is still my favorite to win the North. And, yes, the ceiling is a championship, but I do fear if it wasn't last year, when is it going to be? That's the truth.
The regular season and the floor for Baltimore is so easy to predict. When Lamar's healthy, he wins 75% of his games. This team is basically a shoo-in to win double-digit games every single season. And I think a floor for them of 10 or 11 wins is very safe, but the question is their ceiling. And ceiling means what are you going to do in the playoffs? I would love for them to have more 2 tight end sets. I think Isaiah Likely is their 3rd best receiving option. You have Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, but I like Isaiah Likely more than Rashad Bateman and whoever else is on that wide receiver list. They lost Odell. Who is their starting wide receiver 3? They got Zay, they got Bateman. Who are they starting at their 3? Is it Tyron Wallace?
Is it Nelson Aguilar or is he not?
They did sign Nelson Aguilar.
Okay, so even still, I like Isaiah Likely a lot, but we only really see him utilized when Mark Andrews does get hurt. It feels good that you have a backup tight end that's so great that you could put him in and replicate, like 80% of what Mark Andrews can do. And of course, you added Derrick Henry, who's going to be probably the most talented running back Lamar has ever had in the backfield with him. But the truth about the Ravens is if we want them to get to the ceiling of winning a Super Bowl, I still think they're lacking talent on the outside. When you look at basically every other team except the Kansas City Chiefs, the 49ers have elite separators. The Bengals have elite separators. All of these teams that have gone on deep playoff runs, even the Houston Texans last year, when you look at their 2 wide receivers, now they add Stephon Diggs. You still have Dalton Schultz there. All of these teams have dudes that could separate one-on-one. Outside of Zay Flowers, there's not a lot of dudes that you think week in and week out can go toe-to-toe with top cornerbacks and are able to get separation. Lamar's fantastic. He's a top 5 quarterback to me, 2-time MVP. I think the whole he struggles in the playoffs narrative is a bit overblown. I thought he was fantastic against Houston, and even that game against the Chiefs, he had some throws he wanted back, but I don't think he was the reason they lost that game. But if we want that ceiling to be there, if we want that Super Bowl to be there for the Ravens, I still feel like they need some more help on the outside. I think the defense we saw last season was arguably the best defense they've had in Lamar's era. The offensive line was strong. The run game, everything was, like Drew mentioned, if it was going to be any year, it felt like last year was going to be the year. But then you got up into that game against Kansas City. It was a pretty ugly game, but I thought Kansas City did a great job, especially on the boundaries. When you talk about their corners, Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, it just made things really difficult for Baltimore to really get any sort of separation on the outside. So for me, their floor is very safe. As a 10, probably even their floor you can argue is like an 11-win team. And in the regular season, yes, they could win 13, 14 games and be the number 1 seed. But until they prove it, they're very similar to how Boston's been in basketball these last few years. We know they're going to be a top 2 seed. We know they're going to be great in the regular season. Until they get over that hump, though, everyone's going to look at them sideways, right? Until Lamar is able to make the Super Bowl, until Lamar is able to win the Super Bowl, we're always going to say, we trust you, but we don't trust you enough.
When Lamar is healthy, this has been the best team in the AFC North for 3 years straight. When he is healthy, up until when he gets hurt, then unfortunately, other teams make a run. But when Lamar is healthy, he's out there playing. The Ravens in the regular season will win games. They pretty much last year dominated the NFC. Any opponent you put in front of them, they completely blitzed, whether it was the Niners, whether it was Seattle, and other teams. They destroyed the NFC, and then in the AFC, they won their game. So I think losing your defensive coordinator is tough, but nobody's talking about enough how Derrick Henry completely changes this offense. He gives you I think Derrick Henry still has it. I don't think he's washed. I don't think he's declined insanely amount. I just think Tennessee wasn't the best situation. Going into Baltimore now, you now have probably the 2 best runners in football in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I do believe in the talent of Zay Flowers. I do like Isaiah Likely. They don't have a number 3 guy that's consistent, but you have 2 tight ends. I think Mark Andrews is one of the best in the game. I think Likely can ascend into a really good tight end. You do have Zay Flowers, and then you have Lamar, who's still a weapon with his feet, with his arm, and then you have Derrick Henry. You have that type of offense. It's really going to be hard to game plan and scheme for that. I know they lost to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs defense kind of makes offenses look a bit worse than what they actually are. But this team before that Chiefs game was walking through the AFC, completely dominating every team they played. And they didn't lose an insane amount for where we should drop off completely from them. So we're doing the floor and ceiling thing. I think I'll piggyback. I think the floor for them in the regular season is 10, 11 wins. I think at minimum, if Lamar is playing the full season, they'll probably win the AFC North. In the playoffs, it's always, same thing in basketball. It's a matchup dependent. But this team, I think, defensively, I think they'll be fine. I think offensively, you have to hope, and I think it will happen, but you have to hope on the Zay Flowers breakout, the Isaiah Likely jump, Derrick Henry still being as good as he is, Lamar Jackson consistently improving like he does every year. And then, you figure it out from there. But I think this Baltimore Ravens team is still really talented. I think they're still one of the 3 best teams in the AFC. And I think this team can definitely win a championship. It's just about internally improving those young guys on offense, being a bit more, I don't want to say balanced, but just a bit more trigger happy, and having Zay Flowers break out into that top-notch receiver.
I'll say just one thing about the Derrick Henry edition. Last season, the Ravens ran the second most runs out of shotgun, 343 carries. They averaged 5.6 yards per carry, so they were super elite out of it. I still think Derrick Henry, his running style is best from under center.
Yep.
When he could get, ahead of steam, and also just running out of center or running under center versus running out of shotgun. There's just way more runs you can do out of center because you have just different options to go to. When you're running out of shotgun, there's only so many ways you could go because you're already starting kind of like midfield next to the quarterback. It's hard to get to the quarterback and run the opposite way. So Derrick Henry addition, it fits wise in terms of like a talent perspective, but I think this was very similar to obviously different players, but when DeMarco Murray ended up leaving Dallas and he went to Tennessee, a reason why he didn't succeed is because they ran so much out of shotgun.
The Eagles. He went to
Eagles. My apologies. Yes,
he had a bounce back in Tennessee.
Yes, he bounced back in Tennessee. My apologies, but yes, because that was Chip Kelly's offense. I believe a lot of it was shotgun. Derrick Henry is super efficient. He's one of the best running backs of this generation, but I still think he's best served with an under center style of run game.
Zay Flowers, to me, I'm a big fan of him. He was my number one rookie wide receiver heading into the last year's draft class. 45% of his yards came after the catch. He is an explosive, big play threat. He had an 85% success rate against zone, which is particularly important when Lamar Jackson is your quarterback because the Ravens see zone all the time because if you play man, you're turning your back to Lamar Jackson, and now you give him lanes to run the football. Derrick Henry, it's going to be a huge addition, and you can't understate that enough. I think the Ravens did a great job at leaning into their identity. This wide receiver core is not groundbreaking, but Zay Flowers showed against the Chiefs that he can be a big-time player against big-time corners, and Mark Andrews is always going to be a mismatch against other linebackers or smaller corners. I think they have enough there. Boosting up their run game with Derrick Henry, I think gives them a different thing they can go to when other things aren't working. Against KC, you can argue the biggest argument as to why they lost was because they didn't run the ball enough. The Chiefs weren't a great run defense, and they did overcommit to the Ravens' run game in that game, and that's why you had big plays down the field. But I think they have the receivers that can make you pay. Zay Flowers, like this, he's one of the league's best route runners already. He can make you play if you're playing up on him and you're playing him physical. He can get past you. He has that type of big play speed. So I think Derrick Henry is huge. And this team, they're going to be very tough to stop. They have a very tough schedule, but I look at the opponents. We know the division opponents, the Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Those are always tough games.
Oh, yeah.
They face the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Bills, the Eagles, and the Texans.
Oh, we back.
They honestly can beat every single team there outside of Kansas City.
They can. But they can also lose. Outside of the Cowboys, I think they can lose to the Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, and Texans. They can also lose those games.
Lamar has never beat Josh Allen yet.
Yo, fair. I think the Bills definitely is a game that I have circled too. That could be a loss. Eagles, got to see how the defense looks. Though they did get better.
Where's that game at?
I don't know.
Well, we're gonna do the record predictions in a bit.
Yeah,
I want to see Zay Flowers used in more ways because he had 8.4 A.DOT last season, average up a target, which was on the lower end of starting receivers. And he is great after the catch. Joel just mentioned it, 45% of yards coming after the catch, and he's so good in the screen game and slants and underneath stuff where you get the ball in his hands quick and you're able to make plays out of that. But he's also their best receiver, second best with Mark Andrews there. So it's hard to have your best receiver that be most of his game when a lot of it is short underneath stuff because he is a great route runner. He can beat guys one-on-one. So I'd like to see him open up that route tree more, use him more down the field. And this is also Todd Monken's second year being offensive coordinator, second year for Lamar Jackson, second year for Zay Flowers in the NFL and in this system. So hopefully with, kind of that continuity there, we'll see more of it.
What you're mentioning is not too far from Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's how he makes his living. Mm-hmm. He's going to get a big play. So will Zay Flowers. But Amon-Ra, that's where he does all his damage in the intermediate areas of the field. I think what will define the Ravens season is the first 5 games of their season and the last 6 games. I don't know whether or not these games are at home or on the road. I would have to double check that. But the first 4 of their 5 games, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bills, and Bengals.
God damn.
That's a very tough start.
Chiefs, Cowboys. That's the start.
Chiefs, Cowboys, Bills, and Bengals.
They'll get tested early.
That's their first 4 games. Their 5th game, I think, is against the Giants. Oh, no, it's not against the Giants. It's against another team that they're better than, though. The last 6 games are against the Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Steelers, Texans, and Browns.
Chargers shouldn't be a hard game for them.
I think the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, we don't know what they're going to be
yet. It's going to be a mucky game.
And I will say this. The Giants have upset potential every week. Because I think the Giants have a
Baltimore
defense
against
that
the
can
NFC,
match up.
bro.
Who's the only team that Lamar Jackson has lost to in the NFC?
It's the Giants, yeah. It's the
That
Giants.
interception was nasty.
No, and listen, I think with the Ravens, every single week, if they're going up against a great defensive line, that's a concern.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie Stanley allowed 39 pressures last season. He played in 13 games, so 3 pressures a game he let up on average. Their starting left guard is Andrew Voorhees, a 2023 7th-round pick.
God bless.
He only has combine measurements to his name. He has no snap counts. He has not played a snap.
God bless him, man.
Tyler Linderbaum, 3rd-ranked center, elite, one of the best centers in the league. Ben Cleveland started 2 out of 16 games in 2023, is just a reserve guard. And Roger Rosengarten, a 2024 2nd-round pick. He was just drafted. So their guard spot is in a rough spot. And their right tackle spot, if this rookie, if Rosengarten isn't good immediately, could also be a tough spot.
Yeah. Linderbaum was such a come up for them. But I'm not too concerned about this offensive line for the idea that you have Lamar Jackson. He's going to use his mobility. He's going to use his ability to get outside the pocket. And we always say it's a luxury to have a mobile quarterback because it doesn't make having an offensive line such a huge need. But you always would want one. And I do kind of feel for Derrick Henry where he leaves Tennessee. He's already in a better offensive line than he had in Tennessee with the Ravens, but it's not as good as it was last year, but it still should be fine. I'm not thinking too much of the subtractions because Lamar Jackson is just so elusive and he's just a big play waiting to happen. If you're giving pressure on Lamar Jackson and now you're forcing him to get outside the pocket, honestly, if I'm a Raven, if I'm the Ravens, I'm happy with that because I'm pretty positive it'll be a positive play.
Yeah, you worry when you have a talent issue on the offensive line, and then you have a continuity issue on the offensive line because that's a unit. That's probably the biggest group of all position groups in the NFL where you need the continuity. You need to have. Thankfully, they have the center who's calling out the protection, so you have a guy solidified there. And Ronnie Stanley's been there for some years, but those 3 other players, I was surprised they even passed up on offensive line in the first round, even though Nate Wiggins was a really good, a steal for where he was drafted. But just getting more offensive linemen, getting more depth there, because outside of that 2nd-round pick, maybe they took someone else on day 3, offensive line wise, but I don't know off the top of my head. But I know what you're saying, Drew. When you have Lamar Jackson, you have that luxury of if our offensive line isn't great, he can make things work. It's different when you have Jared Goff back there, for example. Like that's where you see the 9-day difference between him in Los Angeles that last year compared to going to Detroit. And now he's like a top 12, 13 quarterback.
They didn't select an offensive lineman until the 7th round. Yeah. Center Nick Samick from Michigan State.
So, I mean, you're banking a lot on some development from that 2023 7th-round pick and your 2024 2nd-round pick. And you have to hope Ronnie Stanley could get back to, a couple years ago.
And this is a unit that in 2023, it finished 10th in pass blocking efficiency.
Ooh. No, they were
and
awesome.
28th in pressure, so they didn't allow many pressures.
And Morgan Moses was great for them.
You want to know who was number 1 in pass blocking efficiency?
Who?
The Miami Dolphins.
Nice.
Fun fact.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's
Name
why
2
the
offensive
offense was
linemen.
lit.
I wish you were
I
here
should
for
have
that,
said
Dehls.
3.
I know, that was funny.
Should have said 3. We had him.
So fast.
That idiot said Corey Brewer.
He said Aaron Brewer.
No, that's his name.
But
He said
Corey.
Corey
He
Brewer,
did
the
say
basketball
Corey Brewer.
player.
All right, do we have this Ravens schedule? Let's knock out the
We
prediction.
do. We can knock it out. So, predicting the Ravens 2024 schedule.
I'll keep
Mr.
track.
Dehls here, the Lamar Jackson fan,
Yes, sir.
is going to predict it. Ravens at Chiefs week 1.
At KC, that's a hard game. That's an L.
0-1.
0-1.
Don't worry, I got you.
My bad.
Don't mess me up.
Lamar also doesn't beat the Chiefs, sadly.
I'm going
Doesn't
to
beat a lot of
the
people.
the Ravens official website because it tells me the weeks as well. So we know when the bye week is. Week 2 versus the Raiders.
That's a win.
1-1.
Week 3 at the Cowboys.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Very great team at home, the Cowboys.
That's a
They're a
W.
great team.
2-1.
I saw the Dolphins beat them at home. Not that great.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I guess so. Versus the Bills.
Where?
Week 4, it's at home. If I say versus, it's at home.
That's
it's a
an
home
L.
game.
2-2. I like that you respect
Respect
this.
that too.
At the Bengals, week 5.
They're going to split. I think you probably lose on the road. Starting off 2-3. This is a tough start of the
There's
schedule.
just no-
So 2 and 3.
They can't lose to the Bills low key. But God,
Versus the Commanders, week 6.
You're back in it. 3 and 3.
At the Buccaneers,
You're
week
back in it.
7.
That's a tough game, but that should be a win.
It
4 and
is
3.
Todd Bowles, blitz heavy DC. Lamar Jackson struggles against the blitz. That's the toss.
They're going to be 3 and 3 there. That's the win they need.
4 and 3.
Week 8 at the Browns.
We'll split, right?
I think they split. They win this one on the road though.
5 and 3. He wants it badly. You need it.
I need a little breather room.
Week 9 versus the Broncos.
That's a win.
6 and 3. No, not anymore.
Bo Nix, all he's been doing is impressing per reports.
I know. I'm excited.
6 and 3. You're back in it. You're back in the hunt.
Week 10 versus the Bengals.
Oh, so this is your W, right?
This is the win, yeah.
7 and 3. You're back.
Week 11 at the Steelers. Potential trap game.
The Steelers always play him tough. He hasn't beat the Steelers yet, right?
don't-
So as much as
really?
I don't
never
think
beat
he's
them?
beat the Steelers yet. He's only played them like 3 times
Oh, okay,
because
okay.
every time they end up playing, he's
gets
hurt.
You take this one, though?
If Lamar's healthy, he's going to beat the Steelers.
So 8 and 3.
Yes.
We're here. If he's healthy, we're playing
Lamar Jackson is 2 and 4 versus
he
the
is.
Steelers
I
in
just
his
lied.
career.
Tough.
I mean, 2 and 4 is not good.
He's 0-3 in the last 3 times they've played, though.
So he's due.
There it is.
Oh, so 8 and 3.
Week
I hope you're
12
out there.
at the Chargers.
That's a tough game. I think the Chargers going to be sneaky good this year.
think they have
like
a
a
talent
borderline
gap,
playoff
man.
team. What are we, 9 and 3 right now?
You'll be 9 and 3.
Give the Chargers this one.
8 and 4. Nuts.
Versus the Eagles, week 13.
That's a win for Baltimore.
So you
Oh,
beat
no,
the
that's
Eagles,
strange.
but okay.
On the road, cross country.
9 and
Tough game.
4. You should have took the Chargers one, bro.
What are we at right now?
9 and 4.
Now, week 14 is their bye week. They
Sweet.
have a
Late bye
late
week.
bye week in the
Goddamn.
season. And after the bye week, they face the Giants at MetLife.
That's another trappy-ish game. Lamar lost to the Giants the last time
cold.
they played him, but this is coming off a bye week. It's cold, but he plays in Baltimore. They should win this game.
I don't
10 and
want to
4.
put negative energy in the air, but week 15 off a bye playing at MetLife,
It's very tough.
it is waiting for like
He's giving him a
an
torn
injury
ACL.
to happen.
That's
bro.
exactly.
Jesus Christ.
I knew that's
Is
where
it
he was
not?
going.
MetLife
Nah,
is known for
here's
that.
the
It is known
thing.
for that.
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't
You should've
thinking
kept
it.
that in your brain.
But him saying, "I don't want to put negative energy in the air." I knew where he was going.
Oh, we have to be honest about
That MetLife turf is dog shit.
You're at 10 and 4 right now, buddy.
Because you're playing 13. Think about it. You're playing 13 straight weeks if you're Baltimore. You have a bye week, and then you're going to MetLife on that turf. I don't know. I hope nothing happens.
Who's starting in that game? Is it Drew Lock or Daniel Jones?
Drew Lock?
If you guys are casuals,
Drew Lock.
Daniel Jones is back this year.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
From what?
What they were talking about.
From a
right?
torn
Where
ACL?
was he? Where was he? No, back from injury, sure, but
Okay.
like, is he like back in like any form of like being good? I don't know. I
He
don't know
is.
about
Top
that.
20.
He can get there.
He can't get there.
He
He'd be
can.
better than Baker next year.
That's the one that's attainable, but I don't know.
So, Dehls, you have the
He's at 10 and
Ravens
4.
beating the Giants.
Yes.
Okay. Versus the Steelers, week 16.
You know what? They're sweeping Pittsburgh.
11 and 4.
At the Texans, week 17.
That's a tough game. This is a playoff preview.
Brother, this is an L.
But they lost a tough game on the road against the Chargers in the Dome. Now they're going to win a tough road game in a Dome as well. They're going to beat Houston.
You have them losing to the Chargers.
He does.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And last game of the season, week 18 versus the Browns.
Ooh, I don't remember the first time.
You had
split.
the Ravens
Okay,
winning. The
so
first
that's
time.
a
So
L.
12 and 5.
That's L. 12 and 5. I like
Sit
that.
at 12 and
I think
5.
that's where about where they're sitting. Somewhere like floor feels like 10, 11 wins. Ceiling feels like 13, 14.
You mentioned earlier, Dehls, about Lamar Jackson and what he needs to do in the playoffs. In playoff games amongst quarterbacks with 4+ appearances over the past 10 years,
I don't want to hear this.
Lamar Jackson ranks third worst in passer rating, 75.7, and second worst in completion percentage at 57.4. And only Marcus Mariota had a higher sack percentage than Lamar Jackson's 11.8.
Mariota
Steve
started
Nash.
4 playoff games.
What?
Huh?
What?
Steve Nash.
Why are you saying that?
No reason.
His
No,
first
there's a
couple
reason.
games.
Say it.
No reason.
Say it
at
with your
all.
chest.
Speak.
He's one of the worst 2-time MVPs in all of sports.
Steve Nash was great in the playoffs, though.
You gotta stop with that. He's not one of the worst.
He,
Well, I
he
mean,
is.
He just
relative
needs
to the
one run,
competition,
man.
he
He just
probably
needs
is.
So you're
one
calling
run.
Lamar Jackson one of the worst 2-time MVPs in the history of football?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Are you saying
I said
he's-
in all of sports. I actually made it more broad. I went to sports.
Who won 2 times MVP in baseball?
That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
I'm sure there's all-time greats, but I don't know off the top of my head. Lamar just needs one run.
Steve Nash is
Everyone,
pretty
he
great,
just
man.
needs one run, man. That's all.
If he had a
needs.
ring, he'd have been solidified.
Shohei Ohtani.
He's fucked.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's fucked.
You know what I mean?
Who did in football? Aaron Rodgers. He's
Yeah,
cooked
looking
there.
at can you guys guess every player that's won 2 MVPs in the NFL?
I can actually. I can name a few of them.
Peyton
for sure.
Aaron.
Brady. Montana. Did he? Yeah.
I think so.
You're asking me.
No,
I mean, you're the one that
you had the
has
list.
it.
I have the list.
Oh,
yeah.
he's multi-time.
So Lamar Jackson, you got that's obvious, right? Tom Brady, yes.
Aaron Rodgers.
You said Aaron Rodgers, yes.
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, yes.
You said Peyton, right?
Yeah, of
Peyton
course.
Manning,
He has
yes.
the most with 5.
Brett Favre?
No.
Brett Favre has
Does
3.
he? 3?
We said Montana.
Had to be Brett.
Joe
He was-
Montana,
he was
yes.
slinging that
Marino.
Steve Young.
Dan
Yes.
Marino does not
He does
have
have
it.
2. That
Steve
shit is
Young
crazy.
has 2.
Marino doesn't have 2. That's insane.
He should. Otto Graham.
So you're missing 1, 2,
Are these like old guys?
3 names. You're missing 3 guys.
Is Roger Staubach on this list?
No.
Interesting.
I don't know these old guys.
They're all old heads.
Are they all old heads?
I don't want to look at your
2 of them
computer.
are old heads. One of them you guys should definitely know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drew Brees?
No, he never won.
He never won.
I hate that for him, truly.
He should have won.
I don't care.
I like Drew
Should have had
Brees.
one of Payton's.
Ooh.
09? No, that's wrong, actually.
I don't care. Just give him one.
Post 2000 quarterbacks.
No.
Said
Who won
Brady,
Super Bowl
said
that year?
Montana,
Yeah, you're right.
said Peyton. No Drew Brees, no Phillip Rivers, no Big Ben.
You're probably overthinking this name. It happened.
John Elway?
That's not John Elway.
John Elway didn't win multiple.
We said Mahomes.
We definitely are
Oh,
overthinking
did we say Lamar?
Yeah, we
This
saw-
Dude.
dude. I'm trying to think of the old heads while you guys think of the new one.
Oh, Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, yes. Correct.
Okay.
Oh,
You have
shit, I
two
was
more.
right.
I thought it was
Yeah.
QB. I thought it was just
Here.
doing QB. But yes, Jim Brown, good shit.
We are here. Didn't think I would get
He's
that
next
one.
to our QBs, though. For
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
So he's only running back.
One old head.
He's
one,
the only running back.
non-quarterback.
One old
essentially.
head, one current type or post 2000s.
One old head, like,
Old.
you got to know the history of football to pull this name.
Bart Starr.
Not Bart Starr. It's definitely within
And
that
not
era,
Roger
though.
Staubach.
Nope.
Not Terry Bradshaw.
Nope. And then the other player, you guys should know. Like, you should know. Like,
Who
you
we forgetting?
probably grew up watching this guy.
Cam
Definitely
only got
did.
one.
Cam definitely only has one.
Vic
Kurt
doesn't
Warner.
have any.
Yes.
Kurt Warner,
Oh, good
correct.
pull,
Oh my
Riv. Good pull,
God!
Riv.
Somebody give me a fucking medal.
So it's one last name. And it's in an older era of football.
Damn, Kurt Warner won too. I kind of guessed that.
I'm trying to think of the
What teams did he win?
Warren Moon.
Not Warren Moon.
Is it a black QB?
Reggie
it's
Cunningham.
not.
Doug Williams.
Randall.
No,
Shit.
it's
Randall.
Randall.
Yeah.
Kurt Warner won with the Rams.
Both of them. Mm-hmm. That was when that was the greatest team Turk.
Greatest show on turf.
Greatest show on
Yes.
turf. That was his team.
Yes.
Shout out, man. I'm a
Vinny
big Kurt Warner.
Testaverde.
No.
You're cooking.
You
'cause
gotta
I know
think
who that is.
even
back
further
then.
back than that. Further back than that.
Unitas.
Johnny Unitas is the last name. Yes.
Who?
Good pull,
Johnny
Unitas.
Unitas.
What team you played for?
Colts.
Yeah.
He did play with the Colts.
Indianapolis, or they
You
were
know who
He
somewhere
won
beat
else?
3
him?
MVPs.
You know who beat him?
Dehls?
The New York Jets,
Jets.
baby.
That was your one?
Super Bowl 3.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, 3?
Yo, Unitas was a problem,
was?
actually. He had
Have
the
you seen
record
tape?
for most touchdowns. Say it again?
Have you seen tape?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot. What does it
They
look
got
like?
Super Bowl 3 tape for
Really,
sure.
what does it look
Look
like?
great.
It is
Black
okay.
and white.
But I think he has the record for most touchdowns thrown in consecutive games.
Damn.
He had 7 or 6.
No, not touchdowns in a game.
Oh,
consecutive games. Like you threw a touchdown in consecutive
Oh,
games.
got you. Like
I'm pretty
10
sure.
10
yeah,
games in a row,
it was him,
touchdown type
Breeze,
shit.
and Peyton. That's
And Madden, my record's like 65. Like, I haven't gone without throwing a TD in a game. Like, I'm gonna get that TD even if I lose.
Riv mentioned the fact about the Ravens earlier that they're a team, when they've been healthy, they've made the playoffs. The same can be said for the Cincinnati Bengals.
For sure.
Because when they've been healthy, they have made the playoffs. Last season, Joe Burrow was not healthy. He was starting to find his stride after like week 5. Week 5 and on, he had 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 106.5 passer rating, 73% completion percentage. I mean, to the point that Joe Burrow was playing so well and the Bengals were playing so well that despite their deficiencies at that point in time, they were being taken seriously as a contender because of how great they played. They beat the 49ers and they beat the Bills. They had a great stretch of games. But when we predict them, we kind of have to go into it with an open mind that they will be healthy. And I don't think my prediction changes on them much when I talk about ceiling or floor. because they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. And this is the only team that, as of today, I feel confident in their record. I think they will be an 11-6 team.
Okay.
I think they will. 11-6 is my record for them. Could they win more? Yes. But I even with their schedule being pretty easy.
You're excited about it, aren't you?
They have some tough opponents.
I'm excited for
There's
it.
tough matchups in there for sure. That
Who they?
for me, that's why I'm doing it. But I look at their schedule. The only tough opponents they have, the Chiefs.
You want to just predict right now?
We could.
Let's do it.
I got you.
But the Chiefs, the Ravens twice, the Browns twice, the Steelers twice, and the Cowboys. That's their only tough games.
Terrible.
It's in division in the Chiefs and Cowboys.
We gotta stop throwing the Cowboys.
I would say Cowboys is a winnable hard game.
It's
You know,
one
like
of those. You know,
Yes.
if I would play,
you don't know
any
who
tough
you're gonna
team-
get that day. Which Cowboys team?
It's just when projecting the Bengals, how I look at it is that a lot of things need to go right for them. They lost DJ Reader and Jesse Bates in back-to-back off seasons. They were 32nd in an explosive play rate last season. The secondary struggled. They did improve by bringing in safeties, Von Bell and Geno Stone. But this was a secondary that allowed the NFL's most yards per play and most passing yards per attempt. And they were 23rd in pass rush win rate and 26th in run stop win rate. They lost their best run stopper in Reader, and Trey Hendrickson is their only pass rusher.
Yeah, line's butt.
Even though in 2021, people say the defense was a big part of their run, and it was, definitely. When you look at their defense in the past couple of seasons, their defense in 2021 and 2022 ranked 18th and 16th in yards allowed. This past season in 2023, that dropped all the way to 31st. This defense has never been an elite top-of-the-line unit. It has just been good enough for them to win games. I think it does go back to the mean, and that's why I do believe the Bengals will be a playoff team, because I think they will be an average defense. They won't be an elite defense. They'll be an average defense, and the offense with Burrow healthy and the offensive line hopefully improved. They were 26 last year. I think 11 wins is what they're going to be.
I do think the offense does have to carry, but we are going to predict
I'll keep
the
track.
Cincinnati Bengals record for this upcoming season. Week 1, it's going to be the New England Patriots. This is versus the New England Patriots.
This is a win.
1-0.
This is a win.
Okay, at KC.
This is going to be a tough matchup.
This hurts you.
Joe Burrow has Mahomes' number.
Who you
When they
rooting for?
play, both of them. When they play, it's always a great
He can't
game.
lose here. Like
Whenever they
overtime.
play, it's always a great game. You always love two heavyweight fighters. But I'm going to have the Chiefs winning here.
1-1.
This is on the
Shit's
road
black.
at Arrowhead, too.
1-1.
This is going to be versus the Commanders.
This is a win.
2-1.
At Carolina.
Carolina's going to be a frisky team. They have a really good
game.
defense. It is a trap game, but I think the Bengals start their season 3-1.
3-1.
Versus Baltimore.
You're gonna split. I'm assuming so.
At home, I think the Bengals win this game.
4-1.
At New York.
This could be a trap game as well.
Giants, Jets.
The Giants it's the Giants.
Giants, sorry.
The Giants got a great defensive line. I don't know what I'm going to get from their offense. I'm going with the Bengals.
5-1.
Okay. At Cleveland.
This is a loss. The Browns have had the
5-2.
number. Defense is still elite. It'll be a bad matchup.
Versus Philly.
I'm going to go with the win here.
I don't
This
feel
is a
great
win.
about
Be
that
so
one.
This is a
serious.
win.
That's a
6-2.
toss-up game.
I think
mean,
it is a toss-up game. It is a toss-up game. And it's
Defense sucks.
at Cincy.
Philly's defense is TBD.
TBD. Theirs suck. Difference.
I think both are kind of TBD.
Our offense is nutty. We're gonna run all over them.
But I think this could go either way, but I got the Bengals winning.
All right, versus the Raiders.
They'll win.
7-2.
At Baltimore.
They're going to lose.
7-3.
At the Chargers.
Think this could go either way, but I'm going to have them winning here.
8-3.
So
You know,
now
y'all
they have
can't
the
win
bye
every
week.
So
either way
they-
game. You know that?
Week 12, they do have their bye. Week 13 versus Pittsburgh.
You got to get to 11-6. You're on pace for like 14-3 right now.
He's getting all the 50
This is the win. They'll beat the Steelers.
9-3.
After the bye, I agree.
At Dallas.
The Bengals have played in Dallas before. They beat
They're on
them.
like a 6-game win streak right now.
Right now, no, they're hot. They're hot.
If you give them the win here,
That means
but
they
we
had to
didn't
lose
get the
like
win-
5 out of the
Yeah.
last 6.
You should have given them the loss versus Philly. It would have made your life
No, it's
easier.
fine. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. It's fine. It's
You
fine.
don't.
I do.
I got
I do.
You got the
I do.
Bengals here, don't you?
At the Cowboys, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think they win.
10-3.
I think they win.
They're running away with the league at this point.
Here's the thing. Catastrophic collapse at the end of the season, but
Has to be, right?
at Tennessee.
I think the Tennessee Titans beat them. I think the Tennessee Titans are a bad matchup
They got to
for them.
lose. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Because
10-4.
we got to understand something about the Tennessee Titans. They have the secondary to match up with the Bengals in
sure.
that matchup. Jeffrey Simmons on that interior is going to cause havoc. They have a very good defensive line. When they played the Bengals this past season, they embarrassed them flat out. We had conversations about Joe Burrow not being the same and being washed after that game. He played so terribly. And Tennessee, they improved their offense with Ridley, Tony Pollard. They got a better offensive line.
Tyler Boyd's
I
also
think
on
the
that
Titans
team.
will be one of those trap teams on the road at Nashville. They're going to lose this
Titans
game.
also have Callahan, the previous Bengals offensive coordinator, so
Yes.
you know the system
10-4.
very well.
Yes.
Maybe you're on. Maybe you're cooking here.
Versus the Browns.
This is a loss. Whenever they
10-5.
face the Browns, I think it's a bad
So they're
matchup.
going
So they're going 0-2 against the
0-2.
Browns.
I think they will get swept by the Browns.
10-5. We're here.
Week 17 versus the Broncos.
This is your W.
It's got to be.
This is a win.
11-5.
And then at Pittsburgh.
This could go either way. It's at Pittsburgh.
Are they sweeping?
It
Pittsburgh?
depends. Are the Bengals fighting for a playoff spot? Or are they not? Are they fighting for the division crown? I would believe at 11 wins they are.
Yep.
So if they are and they got their guys out there, I think they beat the Steelers 12-5. But amidst this record prediction, I had them beating the Eagles, right?
All the
Cowboys?
50-50 games you have them winning.
And the Cowboys. They will lose one of those two. And it'll probably be against the Philadelphia Eagles.
You know, you picked
So yes, so so this record prediction 12-5.
I respect
but
it.
I got them at 11-6. But they could very well win 12 games.
They could win both those
can.
games. They could
because
lose both
we
those
just went
games.
through the schedule. Their schedule's not difficult. They have a lot of easy games. Like think about it. You're talking about facing the Commanders, Panthers, Giants, Raiders, the Chargers. They're more talented than the Titans. Even though I had them losing, they're more talented than the Broncos. They're more talented than, and then twice against the Steelers, they're more talented than. That's 9 of their 17 games where they're going to be flat out favorites in those games.
Yeah, I'm with
they
you.
have an easy schedule.
They do. And the Bengals are, how do I say this? Not that they're opposite of Baltimore, because I think their floor, as long as Burrow is healthy, is still pretty safe, double-digit win team. But once we get into the playoffs, it hurts my heart to say this, but I just trust them more than Baltimore. I think offensively, their passing game is leaps and bounds
refined.
better than Baltimore. Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is just a better pocket passer than Lamar, better passer in general. They have better weapons. I think just offensive scheme, I like Todd Monk in there too, so I don't want to disrespect them. But then defensively, although they can have deficiencies, Lou Anarumo, he brings a lot of that to the table with his schemes, with his game plan week to week, especially in the playoffs. We see him, have game plans that give Mahomes issues sometimes, that have given, I guess, Derek Carr's and Ryan Tannehill some issues on those runs too. Even the Rams, that Rams game, that was a pretty low scoring game for a majority of it. And one of the bigger plays they had offensively was just a broken play to Jamar Chase. So even still, I think some of the issues they have defensively can be kind of, disguised by a great coach. And then offensively, as long as Joe Burrow is healthy, you have T. Higgins, who has had basically the same stat line since he's entered the NFL. He wants to get paid. So I think we're going to see the best version of T. Higgins. You did lose out on Tyler Boyd. We'll see if Jermaine Burton, someone they drafted in the 3rd round, who was fantastic at Alabama, just had some character issues, if he could step up, because they need a wide receiver 3
Mike Gesicki,
pretty
too.
desperately. Say it again.
Mike Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki, they picked up as tight ends. And you also picked up Zach Moss, who I know Joe Mixon is a hotter name, but I don't think that's a significant drop off from Joe Mixon to Zach Moss. If it's the same Zach Moss we're getting that we saw in Indy. Now, what does he look like with the full workload for 17 games? We don't know, because there was only a handful of games when Jonathan Taylor was out. It's easy to look good in those first 4 or 5 games, but now when you get into week 13, 14, 15, and you've been getting 15 to 20 touches a game, do you still have that same sort of explosiveness, that same sort of efficiency? But you have to feel really good about the Bengals. The only issue you have, or the only question, is Joe Burrow's health, because I think it's been multiple years now, whether he's been starting off slow due to off-season injuries. He had surgery a couple years ago on his abdomen. He started off a bit slow. This season started off slow, then looked fantastic. Then he injures his wrist. Of course, he has the ACL injury going back to his rookie year. So the injuries starting to pile up for him. But as long as him and Jamar Chase are there, I feel very confident about this offense. And as long as Lou's their defensive coordinator, I feel pretty strong about them in the playoffs.
I get that, but I do have my genuine concerns about this defensive line, particularly their run defense. Again, you mentioned losing DJ Reader to Detroit. You already weren't a great rush defense. Now you're really going to be in the trenches. I think secondary-wise, we're going to have to see.
They lost to Uze, too.
Yeah, to Tennessee.
Facts. That's why Tennessee, honestly, I'm excited to talk about the South. I think that it's going to be a lot better than what people want to give the Tennessee Titans credit for. But this is going to have to be a backpack job by their offense, and I think that that's what we will see. I think that we can anticipate T to have his best year, but Jamar Chase is due to continue his dominance. I don't disagree with you either, Joels. I think Zach Moss is going to be perfectly fine in this offense, but the concern becomes when you play against these higher level teams, are they going to try and keep your offense off the field by having dominating run performances? Which is why when we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, I hate that matchup for the Bengals because you have Jalen Hurts, you have Saquon Barkley, a solid offensive line in front of them too. They're going to get so much push that you keep the Bengals offense off the field, you win. That's a recipe to win that type of game. When you go up against these better rush offenses, are you going to struggle? Right now, the way that it seems, I do have that fear for the Cincinnati Bengals, but Joe Burrow and company should be fine offensively, and for a good amount of weeks, that should be enough to win games.
Yeah, my only concern for the Bengals is just the defense as a whole. I think their secondary is still relatively young. You know, Cam Taylor-Britt, Jackson Hill, DJ Turner. They're really young. I think they struggled last year because of their youth, lack of experience. They did lose Owuzie, like we just talked about. Felt like Tennessee stole from a lot of teams this year. Their defensive line isn't that great. They just have Trey. Offensively, you expect Jamar, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins to do whatever they want. They're just that type of talent. But Cincinnati has a chip on their shoulder this year. They were coming in. Joe Burrow was hurt last year. He kind of, I don't want to say got forgotten about, but, people kind of, watched him play, and obviously the injury was there, but kind of, threw jokes, me included, of course. And Jake Browning came in, played a little well, so people kind of started to look at it differently. T. Higgins didn't play to his best performance, started that week one against Cleveland, didn't go uphill from there, looking for a payday, but unfortunately he did not play to them standards. And then, Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase. So Cincinnati's walking in this year. They just watched the Ravens go to the AFC Championship game. They do have that chip on their shoulders. For me, it's just the defense. How is the defense going to hold up, specifically in this type of division where you have the gritty Steelers, you have the Cleveland Browns, you have the Ravens? Like, all of those three defenses, I think we can say are good to great, and they all play tough, physical football. With the Bengals, it's like the offensive line is still going to be in question. Is Joe Burrow, his injury concern, is that going to hurt? Like, they're going to be able to do a lot of what they want to do, and I don't know if this defense is going to be able to hold up too much, but that offense is going to be so high-powered. You trust in it a little bit. But I don't know. This Bengals team, it's going to take a lot for this defense as a whole to really come together. I think if they do make a push, it'll probably happen by like week 8, week 9, towards the later end of the year. But with that schedule being as easy as it is, you kind of want that in a situation. But unfortunately, when a team has an easy schedule, it can kind of trick you into thinking they're better than what they actually are. But for the Bengals, they kind of need this type of easy schedule because their defense isn't what it is at this moment.
And to Drew's point, all of those teams in the AFC North have great run games, or they're going to rely on the run game. We know Cleveland's going to run the ball a ton, even if Nick Chubb is out. We know the Steelers with Russell Wilson are going to rely on Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. And we know Baltimore is probably going to have a top 2 to 3 rushing attack in the league this upcoming year. So even in their own division, we could talk about their outside opponents maybe not being that difficult.
6 games.
But when you have that 6 games, and then you also have tiebreakers. So they could have 11 wins going into week 18. Baltimore could have 12, but Baltimore has a better division record, so they got it locked up. Now they're playing to hopefully get that 5 seed in the wild card instead of 7, so you go up against, an easier opponent instead of like KC, who has the 2nd seed.
It's all relying on finding and replacing talented players with cheaper talent. That's what the NFL is about. And they missed with Dax Hill. Jesse Bates walked out the door for nothing, and they try to draft his replacement. Dax Hill has gotten demoted. He's not even starting at safety no more. He's gotten now placed as a nickel corner. That's his new position. And Mike Hilton is their starting nickel. Dax Hill is going to be a rotational secondary player. Yeah. And he was a first-round pick. We talk about misses. Those type of things matter to the point they had to go and sign Geno Stone. They had to go and sign back Von Bell to make this secondary a little bit better. The offensive line still concerns me. Orlando Brown Jr., who they committed a lot of money to, was number 1 in pressures allowed in 2023. And Trent Brown was a good addition, but he only played 11 games last year. You know, those 6 games that you're missing, they matter. They did draft Armarius Mims, so they have a backup plan. They have a swing tackle. It can't get any worse, honestly, for the Bengals. I mean, we say that every year about their offensive line, but it really just, at this point, it just can't get any worse. And Orlando Brown should be a little bit better. You know, Mahomes, when he played with him, he masked a lot of his deficiencies. Do you guys think he was terrible with them too?
Do you guys think there's any world where, since they've seen Jesse Bates walk out the door, since they've lost guys in free agency, that we approach the trade deadline, do you think T. Higgins is someone that could get moved? Because it seems unlikely right now that they're going to give him a long-term extension because they know they want to give Jamar a bag. They already gave Joe Burrow a bag. Do you think T. Higgins is someone that could get moved at the deadline? Or this, like, we have one more year with this core, let's go and try to win the Super Bowl this year?
Can you only keep one elite wide receiver on your team? And I'm not calling T elite. I'm just meaning in the sense of he's going to get elite level wide receiver money. Naturally, it's his turn to get paid. He's going to get a good amount of money. I can only assume, off the top of my head, probably 25. 25 is the number that comes to my head. But you look at Jamar Chase, he's looking up to $40 million. He might eclipse $40 million.
Whatever.
Also.
What Jet
he got 40.
So that's what Chase
40. One thing's for sure, they're not keeping T long term.
I think
he will be on the team for the entirety of the year. But we're seeing the formula with every top quarterback and how the teams are building around those top quarterbacks. Josh Allen just lost Stephon Diggs. Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill. As long as you can keep one of those elite level weapons and invest in your defense, that's the pathway to winning, because an elite quarterback will give you a floor on offense that is really high already.
The recipe to win when you have a quarterback already signed for an insane amount of money. Because we see I'm with you. I'm with you 100%.
CJ Stroud, you could go out and you could get Daniel Hunter, you can get him Stephon Diggs.
Because you have the luxury of the rookie contract.
But with Joe Burrow, that's how they have to build this roster. They have to invest in their defense, and they have done that. You know, they've brought in some defensive linemen early in the draft. They've drafted some secondary players. Dax Hill was a miss, but in that same draft, they drafted Jordan Battle, who's going to be a good safety for them. So they've had some hits as well, but those misses add up. Fun fact, Joe Burrow actually has a positive EPA when Jamar Chase is not on the field. So, and that's not a knock on Jamar Chase. That just goes to show that Joe Burrow can be out there with anybody, and he will play.
He was with T. Higgins, wasn't he?
His entire rookie season.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Rookie T. Higgins with Tyler Boyd. He was great his entire rookie season.
Yeah.
And I think if you're just removing T. Higgins and then having Jamar Chase, I think Jermaine Burton's really good too. He just has some off-the-field stuff that might derail his career, but if he stays on track, he's a very talented player.
They're going to need him.
They're good. And if they draft a day 2 wide receiver next draft, they are well-equipped to kind of just lose T. Higgins and still be fine on offense.
Did they pick up another receiver? Outside of Burton, obviously. I feel like they did, but I can't think.
They have another receiver that the fan base seems to be high on. His name is Andre Ios.
He had a couple moments. I remember he had a couple moments last season, but I think Burton.
He was a 6th round pick though in 2023.
Yeah. But they didn't pick up like a veteran wide receiver to replace Boyd. Okay,
they did not.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's just Jermaine Burton is going to take that lead.
I want him. I hope he gets first shot. We'll hear. Listen, once August comes around, training camp reports. I'm sure he actually had some highlights in mini camp in like May, whenever that was going on, of positive Burton news.
Yeah, and if he plays well, you feel a lot better about losing T. Higgins because now you have 2 really good receivers. You're fine.
I mean, right now you're hoping Burton could kind of fill that Tyler Boyd role as a number 3 his rookie year, but if he shows flashes that he could be the 2, now you're going into next year's draft saying we could take a receiver day 2 and not feel bad about it. But if Burton ends up not working out, you lose T. Higgins, it feels like almost a lock when you take a receiver round 1.
It's weird that the Browns somehow have committed so much money to Deshaun Watson, yet their roster is stacked and loaded.
They're amazing.
They have everything you can possibly need. I looked at Deshaun's stats. 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 84.3 rating. Terrible. He played terrible. He had some bright spots. The Ravens game is the one that people allude to if they want to have some faith and belief in him. The stat that was alarming to me was that Deshaun Watson was 5-1 as a starter.
Yeah.
He was mid. He is the new age Jimmy Garoppolo. Just the name brand version.
Jimmy Garoppolo probably played better.
You've been calling a lot of guys that.
Deshaun Watson could play average, and the Browns can still win 10 games.
Yep.
Their schedule is tough this year, but I seen their schedule, and I'm looking at it. for one, we have to get something straight. On the road, they were terrible. They were 3-5 on the road. I look at the road games. They faced Jacksonville. They faced the Raiders. They faced the Commanders. This is out of division road games. They faced the Eagles. They faced the Saints. They faced the Broncos. This is an easy road schedule.
I heard one team that I'm worried about.
That's this year, right?
Yes. At home, they faced their toughest opponents.
Oh, yeah.
The Cowboys,
That's
the
when
Chargers,
their defense plays the best.
the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and I put the Giants. These are the home opponents outside of division.
I know you respect the Giants.
He does.
I'm starting to realize
they're a good team. Most of the Browns' home opponents are playoff level teams.
Yeah.
Which means all their road games, the place they struggled in last year,
Easy.
they're easier opponents. So it gives you more room for error. This team is just really good, man. And when I think about this defense and you're facing offenses like the Giants, Raiders, Commanders, Chargers, Saints, Steelers twice, and the Broncos, that's 8 games where your defense is just so much more talented than the opposing team's offense.
For sure. The Cleveland Browns... Rev, happily. Go happily.
He said a smile on his face at the moment he said Cleveland Browns.
No, it's just like the 5-1 record really warmed my heart, because Deshaun Watson was definitely ass last year, but this team still found a way to win.
Will he be ass next year?
That's the question, and I think that's the real important part of this conversation. I think we can talk about the Browns defense all day. It's exceptional. It has Denzel Ward. It has the crown jewel Myles Garrett. It has Zadarius Smith. Up and young coming corners and Martin Emerson and stuff like that. It has all that. The offensive line has talent. You have Nick Chubb coming back from the injury. If he's still at the same level, God bless his soul, because that injury was really nasty. You have Amari Cooper. You picked up Jerry Jeudy. Like you have David Njoku. We can talk about that all day, but in reality, it all comes down to that one position that's at the center. It's the quarterback position. They played with 4 quarterbacks last year. PJ Walker, Deshaun Watson, Dorian, DTR, whatever his name is, and Joe Flacco, who ended off the year. He was cool for a time, but he was on his couch a week before he got picked up. So, I feel like that was the moment that kind of held this team back from truly being great. Because if you put any high-level great to elite quarterback in this position, you're thinking Super Bowl. You're thinking Super Bowl or bust with this roster because it's that talented, top to bottom. It's that good. The home and away discrepancy with this defense was really odd. It was honestly funny. Like at times on the road, they didn't play well. They managed to get a couple good wins. I remember vividly that Colts game. It was like a 40-point game between both teams. It was just really odd, and then they ended up winning off the back of their defense. But then at home, starting the year off, shutting down Cincinnati. Having a comeback win against the Ravens. This team playing the Niners. They won that game. This team played really well. They played through adversity, and this year, it's really all going to come down to Deshaun Watson. And I think this is his last year to show what he can do. Because, last year you can give him his shoulder was messed up. The year before that, he missed a lot of time. Okay, whatever. You've had a full off season to work on your shoulder. You've had a good amount of time off. Now this year, the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, they've built a championship level team around Deshaun Watson. You have to go out there and be what they paid you to be. Nobody's asking you to be top 5, but at minimum, top 12, top 13. You have to be something, especially in a conference where you have Mahomes, you have Josh Allen, you have Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud is creeping up. The Colts are right there. Tennessee just built their team. Their team is damn near stacked at this point. You know what I'm saying? And then you have other teams, the Steelers are always creeping, right? So you have a conference that's from 1 to 13, the teams are pretty fucking great. Your quarterback needs to be on the A game, especially with the schedule. It's not insane, but this team is thinking championship or bust. You have guys in their primes and Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, who are kind of the backbones of your defense. You have Amari Cooper, who's getting up there in age. He's kind of in his prime too. It's all going to come down to Deshaun Watson and how he plays. If he's great, this team is a Super Bowl team. If he's not great and he's ass yet again, this team would just be a team that makes the playoffs and unfortunately can't get over the hump.
Riv made my job very easy right now because a lot of what he said is 100% how I feel. They're 100% predicated. Their success is 100% predicated off of how good Deshaun Watson is. How far they should go, I should really specify. Correct. Because you mentioned it. He didn't play that well. They still won 5 games out of the 6 that he took part in. If he can be a top 15 quarterback, let's not get crazy. Let's not get into the top 10. I won't even put him in that. If he's the 15th best quarterback in the NFL, this is a team that we still have to look at to say they can win a championship. Because Joe Flacco came in there off his couch, like you said. He fell asleep at halftime after that Jets game, but he was still going out there slinging the rock that led to playing winning football.
He torched you.
There's
guys.
no excuse with offensive play calling. Kevin Stefanski is one of the better play callers in the game. Two-time coach of the year. Nick Chubb, God willing, he's healthy. You have a great offensive line in front of you. You have very respectable weapons in terms of Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, David Njoku, who you failed to utilize the way that Joe Flacco has. And David Njoku put the whole world on notice while you weren't his quarterback. Joe Flacco showed the world that David Njoku can be a top 5, maybe even a top 3 tight end. That's how dominant he was. But they go as far as Deshaun Watson takes him, and that is pretty brutal given the fact of you gave him $240 million guaranteed. This was supposed to be signed and sealed. We're getting a come up, and he is your biggest, and in my opinion right now, your only question mark.
Yeah, the Deshaun Watson is interesting because Riv, you mentioned it, saying this is his last year to prove it, but it's really not. He's going to be on the team in 2025 and probably 2026. Just looking at his contract, if he were to be released in 2025, pre-6-1 release, pre-June 1st release, $136 million in dead cap. If he was released post-June 1st, it goes down to $110 million in dead cap. If no one's going to trade for this contract either. So when you give the dude, what was it, 250, 70, whatever million guaranteed, this is going to be the quarterback for the Browns, whether they like it or not. You know, you could go out on the open market. You could sign guys like Jameis Winston. I believe they got Tyler Huntley as well. You could try to draft developmental players like DTR they did previously. But Deshaun Watson is likely going to be the starting quarterback for multiple seasons. And unfortunately, since he's came back or since he's arrived to Cleveland post-Houston, he just hasn't been the same guy. You know, I think his first year there, you could say he was coming off suspension. He's a bit rusty. But then last season, even when he was healthy for those first couple of weeks, I think he's going to be great for fantasy. I'll say that. We'll shout to the fantasy reaction. I think he'll be great for fantasy because he's running the ball a lot, but I still, in the pocket, he does not look the same. He does not look like that Houston Deshaun Watson who was a top 5 quarterback. He was going toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs where he was just looking like, him and Mahomes are going to be the two dudes battling now for the next decade. He does not look like that quarterback, and that's who Cleveland traded for. But you guys mentioned it. Everything else on this roster is beautiful. You have one of the top defenses. You have one of the better coaching staffs. You have some weapons now, although I think Jerry Jeudy's still a TBD. David Njoku had a big breakout season, and this was a guy that was a first-round pick. He's super athletic. It took a few years for Travis Kelce to break out. Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Judy's TBD. Sorry, Amari Cooper stamped one of the better receivers in the league. Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry's not number one no more.
He was one of the best route runners in the league last year.
Shout out to Jerry Jeudy. Hopefully he breaks out.
I think he'll be better than Elijah Moore.
I was always right.
That's fair.
I was always right.
Better than
I
Elijah
actually
Moore.
double-checked his reception perception profile, and everything was red.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually?
No, yeah. No,
this
seriously.
previous year?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm being dead ass.
Well, you guys looked that up, though. I'll just talk a little bit more about the Browns. So Nick Chubb, I think, is the biggest question mark outside of Deshaun Watson. He tore up his knee, as Riv mentioned, in a pretty brutal fashion early in the season. We don't know whether he's going to start the season on the pup, whether he's going to be healthy for week 1. Either way, even if he plays week 1, I think he's going to be eased into this offense. I think Jerome Ford still takes a bulk of the carries for the first month, even maybe 2 months of the season. But I think what you're hoping is that the second half of the year, week 9, 10, 11, 12, that's when we could see Nick Chubb get back to form. If he's able to, even if Nick Chubb is 80% of what he was last year and previous years, you're getting a top 10 running back. Yeah. So if you could rely on that, that's when this team really starts opening up. But if you have to bank on Jerome Ford to be your top run game, that's where I worry, because last season he was not very efficient. He's not great as a pass catcher, and him compared to a healthy Nick Chubb is just night and day.
He's awful.
Yeah, Joel has the Jerry Jeudy reception perception.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the screen.
He's good and flat.
No, anything underneath, he's cash. Damn, reception perception's interesting. So it has nothing to do with Russ.
No,
this has nothing to do with Russ.
This is just we're looking
This
at
is
this.
just how Jerry
Did
Jeudy-
he win his route?
Yeah.
He
So
did not win a lot.
this is the against man. He had a 70.7% success rate, 63rd percentile. But against zone coverage, he had a 70.3% success rate, which is 8th percentile, which is terrible. So
Bottom of the list.
he's a pretty average man-to-man receiver. In
Press,
zone,
he's 61st.
he's terrible.
Cedric Tillman's been getting some buzz out of minicamp as well that possibly he could break out and be the wide receiver.
Hey, listen, zone press, he's good. He's solid.
Listen, I knew I watched a lot of Jerry games last year and felt like there was moments I thought Russ could have gotten the ball, but there's also times where I saw Jerry just didn't have it. But as a route runner,
he got a little, extension.
Looking at this, just quickly reading it, he took 54% of his snaps in the slot. No, he lined up in this. Let me see. This year, given where he wins as a receiver, he's best suited to operate primarily as a flanker and win in breaking routes against man coverage. And that's perfect for him with this Browns fit because Amari Cooper's the X. Elijah Moore is going to play in the slot. So Jerry Jeudy is going to be able to play off the line of scrimmage and succeed. I think when you look at the chart, the red, obviously it's bad, it's damning, but he does do some things well. And he's not a number one, clearly, but he's not terrible either. I don't think he's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if he could be, I think ideally he's probably a 3 in most offenses.
Yes.
What was his extension? What did he get? Like 10, 12? I don't remember. What
Maybe he got like $14 million a year. It was like a Gabe Davis kind of deal,
not terrible.
honestly.
Nah.
Yeah. So, I was right when I was reading it earlier. He took 54% of his snaps in 2023 were in the slot. And that's not where he succeeds. So, his route tree could very well have been affected by just where he lined up. But just for his career, perception from what I've read on Judy's profiles,
they don't love him.
They have never been that high on him, and they think that he's always been overrated as a route runner because what truly makes you a great route runner is how you can win against zone coverage because that's when you have to find the weak spots in the defense and you have to sit into those zones. And Jerry Jeudy clearly does it at a pretty terrible level.
Hey, listen, not my problem anymore. Wish him best.
Record prediction?
Let's do it, man.
All right. Predicting the Cleveland Browns record in 2024.
We'll get the second seat.
Week 1, big game. Dallas Cowboys. You are home.
Give us a W.
Okay. Who's keeping track?
Want to know.
Okay. You were on the road against Jacksonville week 2.
It's a tough game. I'll say we start 2-0.
Okay.
Home against the Giants week 3.
3-0. We're home.
Okay.
Week 4 at the Raiders.
4-0.
Okay. Week 5 at the Commanders.
5-0. What the fuck is going on here?
Week 6 at Philly.
Okay, this is L.
Okay. 5-1.
Week 7 home against the Bengals.
We'll split, so we'll take the home one.
Okay.
6-1.
Week 8 back-to-back, this time against Baltimore.
At home?
At home.
Yes.
I think Baltimore wins at home.
Okay. 6-2.
Okay. Week 9 home against the Chargers.
No, the week 8 Ravens game, the Browns are at home.
Yeah,
sorry.
I said Ravens win at our home.
Okay.
Yeah. Beat the Chargers. I'm really not high on the Chargers. We'll take that one.
Okay. Week 10 is your bye week. So coming off the bye, week 11 at the Saints.
And what's our record?
7-2.
We're gonna lose one of these bad games. I don't know if
Off
it'll be
the bye, though?
Off the bye, I think we take this one, but I don't know if it's gonna be down the road. We'll take this one.
8-2.
Then week 12, this is a short week, Thursday night against the Steelers. You are home.
Steelers win.
Okay. You're home, though, even still.
Steelers win.
8-3.
Week 13, now you get a long rest. This is a Monday night football game at the Broncos.
They beat us last year. Browns.
9-3.
Week 14 at the Steelers.
Browns.
10-3.
Week 15, home to the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
10-4.
Week 16 at the Bengals.
We took the first one, right?
Yes.
The Bengals take this one.
10-5.
Week 17, home against the Dolphins.
Browns.
That's a cold game. It's a cold game.
Browns.
Week 17, Cleveland. This is December 29th.
This is Sunday Night Football, too.
Sunday Night
The
Football.
Browns take this one.
Oh, yeah. This is a 2 loss. Come on.
And you finish the
11-5.
season at Baltimore week 18.
Baltimore takes this one. Wait, I gave him the first one, right?
You did.
It's at Baltimore.
That's another game where is Baltimore playing for anything? Where are we right now?
This is right. If he says they win, this is 12-5.
Okay.
I'm fine with 11-6.
Okay.
Baltimore takes this one.
Damn, so we had
And
Baltimore,
I think that
Cincy, and
the first couple weeks, what was it
all around
against?
by
Who was the first 3 games?
they were pretty easy. They were Commanders.
I think the second one they can lose this
Cowboys, Jags,
Jacksonville could be a
Giants.
loss. I can see.
But then
them
you have the
losing
Raiders,
that.
Commanders.
But I think after the first 2, I think they'll split.
I agree.
But then after that, I think you can really walk through it.
That's why taking a look at the Browns schedule, it says it's hard, but I'm
terrible.
looking at it and I'm like,
Ain't
it's
bad.
actually a lot of favorable opponents and favorable
Maybe they're
matchups.
projecting other teams would be a lot better.
Yeah, and when they play them as well, it matters because a lot of their tougher
Miami
opponents
in the cold?
are at home. Exactly. Sunday Night Football, come on. If there's ever been a 2
Bright lights
written on it, it's right there.
To a bad
Elite
game.
defensive line.
Oh, come on. Myles Garrett
Sunday
and the
night.
boys.
Get your licks in now.
We'll talk.
And even the
Week
Chiefs
17.
game, like
We'll talk
week
week 17.
15
We'll talk week
December
17.
game, you could hope maybe there's some weather there, muck it up.
Last year, the Chiefs lost to the Raiders on Christmas.
Yeah.
So that can happen. I think the overarching theme of everything you guys
Wasn't that
said.
Mahomes' like worst game?
Yeah, it was a great Christmas for me.
Yeah. The overarching theme of everything you guys said is that Deshaun Watson has no excuses.
No.
This upcoming season. Dehls mentioned his contract. The Browns can't get out of it.
Nope.
Deshaun is going to be the starter in Cleveland unless some disaster happens where he's just completely terrible, where he's not even serviceable anymore. He will still start for this team, but I will say this. If Deshaun Watson doesn't pick up his play soon, once that contract is done, Deshaun Watson could be out of the NFL. Because if Deshaun showcases that he's not a good starter, or at the very best, he's a borderline replacement level starter, no team will take the risk on him. And there is no way, with all the distractions he brings, he will be a backup quarterback.
How crazy? Sorry, do you have more to say?
No, that's it.
Okay. How crazy do the Browns have to feel, the front office ownership, that they gave out a fully guaranteed contract to this guy after all of the off the field stuff? And then you see Mahomes, Josh Allen, all of these dudes who are
definitely feels
so
sick
much
to the
better,
stomach.
and they're not even getting fully guaranteed contracts.
Would you not? I feel like the guy they thought they was giving it to was on his way to that level.
No, for sure.
He was just coming off.
But just the
best
risk
season.
that comes with it, you know?
It was all that stuff that happened. It really fucked them. It really did.
It's crazy because I
The risk
think
was there.
I'd feel
himself
much
too.
better about the Browns if Baker Mayfield was starting right now. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
I'm not mad at that in hindsight. I'm not mad at
Because
that.
Baker, you're getting like a top 20 baseline.
But you still don't feel great.
You probably don't know. You probably don't feel Super Bowl upside, but I don't feel Super Bowl upside if Deshaun, unless Deshaun comes back. But if it's
Brock
Deshaun,
Purdy
we
was
got the
there, I'd
last
feel
2
great.
weeks.
Cook.
Because he's already done it. Just saying. He's already, he's already
I don't
shown that he can
completely
get
disagree.
there with a stacked
I
team.
guess.
AFC a little different. AFC going up against Mahomes potentially in round 1 or
Not
2,
moved.
not the Super Bowl.
Not really moved, He's done it before. Lions.
You know what's crazy, man? I was watching the game back the other day. Brock Purdy actually had a really good first half. He had a really
Against
good first
Detroit?
against the Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs.
Against the Chiefs, he had a really
Life
good
went
first half.
downhill after that.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
We were up 10-0.
We was crazy.
So did Jalen Hurts in the second half. That's what the money's
this
made.
fucking guy
What-
love.
Jalen Hurts
Let
had
the
a-
field tie.
You know what's insane, bro? I think it's something about Mahomes. He's a sick fuck. He likes to be down double digits. Something about it. Every time he fucking wins in the playoffs, down double digits.
Great. Steelers talk.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Love the Steelers.
So happy.
It's
And
the-
this
it's
is
the
the
same
team
thing
that
with
I
the
get
Browns,
deemed
honestly.
to do the record prediction now.
I guess, yeah. You're
So
saying
whoever,
one.
John already did it. We already have like
true.
a TikTok clip
We already
on
did
it.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's funny with the Steelers because they're, I guess, in a similar boat to the Browns minus the investment. Because Russell Wilson, they're hoping that he has a bounce back. You can only play a certain way, but they're not paying him anything. So I don't think expectations should be high. This is one of those teams that I looked at the schedule. They have the number one toughest schedule in the NFL according to Sharp Analytics. My ceiling for them is 9-8, and my floor is 8-9.
yeah.
That's really the separator for me. I know that they're gonna win games they're not supposed to win, and I know they're gonna lose games and they're supposed to win. But this team, this team is just about their defensive identity.
Yeah.
I think their defense truly has a lot of star talent. Hayward, Watt, Alex Highsmith, Patrick Queen, Joey Porter Jr. They traded for Dante Jackson. They brought back Cam Sutton, who I think now back in Pittsburgh is going to play into his ideal role, because in Detroit, they asked him to play man-to-man against elite receivers and shadow them. That's what they wanted him to do. He never did that in Pittsburgh, so that's why he struggled in Detroit. And then, of course, Minkah Fitzpatrick puts it all together. This defense is great, but the offense with Arthur Smith, after what he did in Atlanta, I don't trust him. The receivers, outside of George Pickens and Freiermuth, they don't have nobody I trust. And their offensive line got a little bit better, but every time I want to be lower on the Steelers, they still kind of reach that baseline, 9-8. That's what they are.
Let me ask Arthur Smith. I know, we used to be pretty high on him, but then we saw how his tenure with the Falcons ended, and we kind of faded that. But was it his personnel decision? Are you laughing at my voice? Or
No.
What the hell is that?
This is lip balm.
God damn, that's big as hell.
I wasn't even
It
laughing at
lasts.
that. Just
No,
anytime someone says 10 years,
He
just
looks
look over.
he looks right at me. That's why I started laughing.
Sorry.
He's racist.
But Now I lost my train of thought. You fucks. Arthur Smith.
Yes, him.
His personnel decision was bad. Who he decided to put on the field was pretty bad. But his play calling and his play designs, they were pretty solid. The issue is, it's not a great pairing. You have the wrong quarterback for what Arthur Smith's strengths are. So I don't know how that's going to go. I do like the personnel on the team, of course. I say that with Pickens had a great year last year. You saw it with Mason. Absolutely not. Oh. But you saw it with Mason Rudolph. They were able to actually stretch the field vertically for a good amount of those games to close out the year. Were able to secure that last playoff spot. They were surprisingly good offensively, but it's all going to come down to Russ or Justin Fields. I think Russell Wilson will be the quarterback, but again, say my problem no more. I don't have no ties to Russell Wilson.
Listen, man.
So you can be honest about him.
I don't give a fuck about him, to be transparent.
Respect that.
I don't see them being bad, though. I think their defense is extremely good. As long as TJ Watt is healthy, we're going to be talking about one of the best defenses in the league. Joey Porter is one of the best corners in the game also, very early on into his career. But what are you going to do with the quarterback position? I think their floor to me is 9-8. I think their ceiling is 9-8.
And that's the problem. Pittsburgh just screams Miami Heat to me to a lesser degree. Just a team that doesn't make an insane amount of moves, has that one superstar, TJ Watt, Jimmy Butler. Of course, has another guy, but for the most part, they're always competitive. They're always going to be around, but they don't make the moves they should be making or make the proper jumps they should be making to be an extremely competitive team or compete for a championship. I think, of course, they haven't made a Super Bowl in a while, so that's why I say to a lesser degree of Miami. But same philosophy, gives me the same vibes. Just a team that's been in this division, an extremely tough division. It's kind of been hovering around the same 9-8, 10-7 stuff or whatever it is. Always has been competitive, sneaks into the playoffs. Is that one aggravating, annoying ass bug in your house that you can't kill, that it just keeps following around. You eating, it's there. You in the shower, it jumps in there with you, but you can't seem to kill it. And it's like, I don't know if it's the Mike Tomlin effect. He gives me Spo vibes, but Spo's, of course, the best in the league on that side. But he just gives me that tough, gritty, I'm going to get the best out of my guys. Kind of like Vrabel in a sense. But Pittsburgh, their quarterback play has not been great since Big Ben. Like, even Big Ben's last leg was better than what they've been getting, in Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. Unfortunately, we can be objective. My brother in Christ, Justin Fields, was not good. He's over there in Pittsburgh. Russell kick return is so nuts, but I will be rooting for him no matter what.
Well, Russell Wilson threw 26 touchdowns, had 8 interceptions.
The most fake is 26.
Clearly still good.
Most fake is 26 touchdowns in NFL history. George Pickens is good. I feel like he
also got benched to end the year. He could have had better stats. Just saying.
Probably could have had 30. But George Pickens had a weird year because I feel like it was times where he didn't get the ball, and then he had like a 4 or 5 stretch game of just breaking out into a stud. Pat is good. The defense is always reliant. They're a TJ Watt injury away from being the worst team in the league on that end, which is hard to say, but that's his type of impact. Pittsburgh is, like Drew mentioned, and I think Joel mentioned it too, 9-8 seems like the floor. It always seems like the ceiling too. Like, it's just, they're such a weird team. They're not going to be bad. They're not going to be great, but they're going to be annoying. They don't make the proper, I don't know when they're ever going to go in the direction of just trying something new, blowing it up, trying something different. I know in NFL it's a lot different than the NBA. Rebuilding is a lot different, but they haven't really gone into the development of real legit young players. Minka, he was already in the league when they got him. TJ was one of them. George Pickens has been that. But just getting a quarterback would change this team so much, and they just haven't been able to hit on that. So floor, I guess 9-8, ceiling 9-8. This is a team that's going to be mid all year, but going to create some havoc for a lot of these other teams.
Statistically, Russ was so good last year.
It just don't move anybody.
No, like not a single human.
He was so efficient. That's really what it was.
Dinking and dunking.
But the turnovers we always got into great field possession, but he was always getting in the end zone.
Yeah, no, that 5-game win streak you guys had, where you're just getting like 4 or 5 turnovers every
movie.
game, was a fucking
movie.
insane. The Steelers, listen, their floor is so safe because they have one of the best front fours in the game. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, Keanu Benton had a really solid year. You have Hayward coming back off injury as well when he's healthy. He's getting up there in age, but he's always been one of the better interior D linemen in the NFL. So the floor with that defense, that front four, and Mike Tomlin, you have to feel really safe about. This team is not going to crash out. This is not a team that's ever going to have locker room issues because they're losing. This isn't a team that's going to win 4, 5, 6 games. But it is really difficult to find a ceiling for this team. And I know what every Steelers fan is going to say because 2 of our best friends are Steelers fans. We're getting an upgrade at quarterback. We're going from Kenny Pickett, the worst starter, to Russell Wilson. It doesn't always work that way, where just because you get an upgrade at one position, even if it is quarterback, you're all of a sudden going to be this great team. I think we saw Derek Carr a few years ago go to New Orleans. We're like, this is probably an upgrade at quarterback. It might not be a huge upgrade, but it's an upgrade. They were the same team. Like, they weren't out here winning playoff games, winning the division, taking the league by storm, and I don't think that's what Steelers fans expect. But I just think since you had such bad quarterback play, unless you were going to a guaranteed top 15 Jared Goff type of dude, that's the only path I see where there's a real chance that you could win a playoff game here. You made the playoffs last year with terrible quarterback play, injured quarterback play, and some shaky play calling offensively, so I give you credit for that. But I think that just goes to show how great this defense was, how great Mike Tomlin was, and getting the most out of all of your players. I am expecting a big year from George Pickens. I think this is the year we see him really break out into the scene where he could be talked about as maybe like a top 15-ish type of receiver. Loved him out of college. And his first couple of years have kind of been up and down. But now that Deontay is gone, he's going to take over as the primary number 1 option. I think he'll see the most targets on this team. He's the most explosive option. And I think Roman Wilson, their rookie out of Michigan, is going to have a big stay in this offense too, because outside of George Pickens, they don't really have much. They have Calvin Austin there. You have Pat Freiermuth at tight end, but there's really not much in that wide receiver room that you trust.
Do we count Jalen?
Say it again?
Jalen and Najee is the receiving options.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get a ton of targets too. They'll probably be second or even third in targets behind George Pickens, and Freiermuth's been banged up as well. But yeah, this is a team that's still going to rely heavily on the run game. I don't think the offense is going to look a lot different in terms of production from quarterback than what we saw last year. It's going to be a lot of Najee. It's going to be a lot of Jalen Warren, and you got to hope George Pickens breaks out, which I think he has the talent to do. But just because you go from arguably the worst starting quarterback in the NFL to like the 25th best quarterback in the NFL, although it's an upgrade, it doesn't move me enough to take you from a team that made the playoffs last year to a team that all of a sudden can win 1 or 2 playoff games. I think this is a team that, at ceiling, even still with all of their issues they have at quarterback, can be a 7 seed and get into the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. But outside of that, I do not see them winning a playoff game.
They're the most boring team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And even though it is deserved, they make the playoffs and they're the underdogs. Mike Tomlin gets the most out of his rosters. It kind of does feel like a waste of a playoff spot whenever it goes to the Steelers.
We should start being able to pick on playoff
I don't know. When TJ plays, it's not boring. I'm not bored watching the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know what's low key the problem with, not the problem, but you guys allow just if you win your division you can get in. When sometimes a division winner shouldn't get in. Like last year, like NFC. What was it? South.
But
let's be
Bucks
serious.
won a playoff game.
It was cool. No, it was cool, but it's like
they made the Lions
some team, and then even like some teams shouldn't get in. Some
Let
years.
me also say this: we've seen moments in history where that team wins their division.
The Giants.
They play a strong team.
Happens once in a blue moon.
Seattle and the Saints with one of the best runs, probably the best run in NFL history with Marshawn Lynch. So I mean, you can't take it out of the game, but I get your sentiment.
You need to have a good quarterback.
I'm watching
to
this
make
video.
That should be the.
Dehls, why was you so excited, man?
When John scored on you.
Up and down in the back.
I don't want to reveal what happened. But we'll just say,
he was geeked up.
John made things interesting. You know what I mean? It was a good game.
I have some games.
It was a good game.
Yeah, please.
Let's have some fun.
If you guys want to watch the 1v1 dropping July 15th,
it's $1.
Join the Patreon. Join
it's
the
$1.
Patreon.
But if you wanted to put a little extra money, we're not going to stop you.
We just need $1.
It's only $1 to get in.
Just need $1
It is only
for
$1.
sure. We got to start being more active on the Patreon.
This week in the NFL, I have 2 trivia things for you guys. We can wrap it up on that, unless you guys have some trivia.
I do. I always have. Yes,
Okay.
but we do have to go
something.
soon.
Okay, so I'll give my trivia. This is my first trivia. Can you name the 5 worst quarterbacks in playoff passer rating since 2000 in their first 6 playoff games?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is number 5 at 75.7.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning is not here.
Does
Casual.
Mariota
Dumbass.
get this because he didn't get 6?
I'm sorry, bro.
Marcus Mariota is not here.
Okay.
Tua.
Tua is not
he
here.
played
Wait, so
do they have
how
to-
many
do they
games
have
do we
to play
get?
6?
First 6.
First 6, you have to
So
play
they had
6
to play
games.
at least
Yeah,
6
you have to
games.
play at
Okay.
least 6 games.
Do we have a mix of old school, new school?
It's since 2000, I will say everybody post 2010 outside of one guy.
Okay.
Is Phillip Rivers up here?
Phillip Rivers is not up here. He was in the top 10 though.
Oh, okay.
First 6.
Is Donovan McNabb up here?
Donovan McNabb is not in here.
Just trying to name quarterbacks. You guys remember Josh Freeman? I was watching his highlight tape yesterday.
Insane highlight tape.
It was random.
You're probably overthinking. Just think of bad quarterbacks.
I'm just bad at
Jimmy
quarterbacks.
G.
Jimmy Garoppolo, number 2.
Ryan Tannehill.
Mark Sanchez.
Ryan Tannehill not here. Mark Sanchez actually is
I would
top
say he was
15 in playoff
decent.
pass rating all
You
time.
said think of bad quarterbacks.
He wasn't bad in the playoffs.
I'm thinking bad quarterbacks. So I was thinking about bad quarterbacks who made the playoffs.
Dak, nope, he's
Crying
not
at
in.
that.
Good. Happy for him.
Daniel Jones only played 2 games.
would say-
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts is not here.
Fucking why would you?
I will say
He had a couple bad
the
games.
number 1 on this list is surprising because he also had an exceptional run.
Joe Flacco.
Joe
Eli?
Flacco is number 1 at 61.7 his first 6 playoff games.
Damn. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So
what do we
Alex
have?
Smith.
Alex Smith is not
We have
on
Flacco,
here.
Lamar, Jimmy G.
Yes, so
2
you have
Ravens. God bless.
you have 3 and
God
4
bless.
left.
Okay.
One of them is probably a hard
Ryan
get.
Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill's not here.
Tannehill.
One of them, number 3 is a hard get because he actually had success. His teams won when he was in the playoffs.
Russell
Brady.
The
Wilson.
passer rating wasn't that good. It's not Tom Brady, not Russell Wilson. Tom Brady was number 10 though.
Okay. Figured his first 6 games wasn't the greatest.
His teams had success.
Carson Palmer.
Nope.
Big
Kurt
Ben.
Warner.
Andy Dalton.
Nope.
Oh, he should be up here. Fucking bum.
Matt Schaub.
Nope.
You said his team had success, but
And he's a great quarterback.
Drew Brees.
I said
Not
it
Drew
already.
Brees.
Big Ben.
Said
Said
Big
Big
Ben.
Not Big
There
Ben.
we go. We got a lock in.
Yeah, we definitely do. We said Peyton already. So,
So
give Peyton
think about
up to me.
teams that have gone and run. So it wasn't Eli. It wasn't Russ.
No Super Bowl. Not a Super Bowl appearance.
Okay.
Championship game appearance though.
It's not gonna
Andrew
be-
Luck.
Andrew Luck is number 3.
Good cook.
Good cook.
And the last name, number 4, he was a 2000s quarterback.
2000.
Jake Delhomme.
Not Jake Delhomme. He's actually
Legend.
he was actually really good in his
Yeah.
first couple of games, yeah.
Michael
Jay
Vick.
Cutler.
Michael Vick made the top 10, but he was not top 5. No, not Jay Cutler. If I give you this hint, it probably will give it away, but he is a lefty.
Mark Brunell.
Not Mark
Shout out to
Brunell.
Jet legend Mark Brunell.
Lefty. That shit did not help at all. As a matter
You
of
said
fact,
you just said Vic.
I said Vic already. Yeah. Lefty quarterbacks.
Matt Leinart.
Not Matt
Screaming.
Lyon.
He was
that.
terrible. He never made the
I
playoffs.
would say I don't think he played 6.
I'm just trying to. Now this is on
Big
me.
lefty guy.
This is on me now, guys.
Definitely 2000s. All 2000s QB through and through lefty.
Who was relevant as a lefty outside of Mike Vick?
Mark Brunell. I thought was the answer.
That shit didn't help. That's a good guess though, but it didn't help. I feel like the ball nowhere should know this.
I know. That's why I'm sick of
Lefty is
myself
such a
right
huge
now.
hint because there's like 2 lefties that start every year.
OD.
This next hint might give it away, but it might not because he's not actually known for being on this team. His first team was the 49ers. But his playoff games were not with
the
them.
So team that drafted.
Is this Garcia?
This is Jeff Garcia
shit,
at number
good pull.
4. So top 5, Joe
I didn't know Jeff
Flacco,
Garcia was a lefty. Honestly, I
dude.
thought he was righty.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Andrew Luck, Jeff Garcia, and Lamar Jackson top
Cook.
5.
You cooked.
Facts.
Here we go.
OD. Did I get it?
I think you got everyone.
Yeah.
I have 2. You want to do offensive players or defensive players?
Offensive.
Let's have fun.
I've
Okay.
like fucking. Let me relax.
These are all right. Blindly ranking all-time offensive players from the AFC North.
Oh, tough.
So this can be. Think of the AFC North. It can be any offensive player.
Okay.
Could be a running back. Could be a quarterback.
I hate
Might be
you.
a wide receiver. It could be a left tackle. But
It could be a lot of tackles
it
hilarious.
is 6 names. First name up.
Jeff Garcia was a righty.
I bugged.
I was going to say, but-
First name up. AJ Green.
Okay.
There's 6 names.
2.
I was going to say, I feel like Riv, that first name, it's always either one of the tops or one of the
Oh,
bottoms.
AJ
You know what I
Green's
mean?
great though.
He was
I'm thinking-
fantastic.
I'm thinking
To be fair, they're all great. So you're fucked.
Okay.
But there's a level
If
of
they're
great.
all great, I'm cool with
three.
3
I'm
then.
cool with
I'm
three.
cool with 3.
Okay, putting AJ Green at 3.
You fucked up.
That might have been high.
No, I'm
Because
just
it's just AFC North.
Yeah.
yeah. Next name,
All right.
Ocho Cinco.
Okay, that's cool. I'm cool with this. We can put him 2, as long as we save room for Boney.
Who's Boney?
Boney Tony.
Crying.
There's so many. Yeah, I mean, AB.
What if
but
we get Hines Ward?
Okay, I don't
what
care
if we
about
get
him.
Ben? What if we get Lamar?
Yo, crying.
Sorry.
Yeah, shit.
But this
I
is
mean,
AFC North players?
Yeah.
AFC North
Offensive
only.
players. You could get Andrew Whitworth.
Offensive players.
Chad, AJ. Chad's probably better than AJ.
We kind of
Yeah,
started.
but
off-
it's-
Chad is definitely better than AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But
Like,
AJ was.
Ocho Cinco definitely the career was longer, you know.
AJ.
But AJ Green's prime was fucking nuts.
So we should
Probably
put.
just as good.
Should we save ourselves? Give ourselves room
I would
for
say the
improvement?
spot.
4.
I would say
Okay,
the
I would be
second
cool with
Chad
that.
at 4.
Yeah, Chad at 4.
It's an AFC North legend though.
Ocho Cinco at 4. Next name up, Le'Veon Bell.
Ooh, okay.
That's a fucking
Yeah.
dog.
I mean,
Think
the prime was short. The prime was
the
short,
prime
but
was
he was
memorable.
like best running back in the league.
I'm
Good.
fine with 5.
Oh God! This is just Steelers, Lev. This is just
Yes,
Steelers.
100%.
Steelers
It's AFC
Le'Veon
North.
is one
So-
of the best players I've
He's
ever
2, bro.
seen.
He's 2. He's 2.
He's
2.
one of the best I've ever seen.
He was insane.
In 5 seasons, though,
Brother.
But it's a running back. 5 seasons. That's like
Terrell
your
Davis
prime.
got into the Hall of Fame off 4 seasons.
AJ Green was with the Bengals for 9 years.
He was amazing.
And in 6 of them, he had 1,000 yards.
Okay, that's
that's
comparable.
You
then.
think Le'Veon Bell?
Yes, because as a receiving back, he
was
was
insane.
insane.
I'm putting him. I'm putting him 2 before 5.
OD.
Well, he's not better than Chad. Le'Veon's not better than Chad.
Well, we already fucked up because we're
But-
Chad 4.
You think Le'Veon's better than AJ Green?
Prime for prime.
I'll be honest. You can make an argument for Le'Veon better than Chad. You can.
If you just go positionally, like Le'Veon
Yeah.
was like top 2 at his position.
But bro, we're getting AFC North
legends.
players. We might
We
get
could get a quarterback.
better
yeah,
players.
we could. We could.
Better than
What if we
Le'Veon?
get
There's
Big
not
Ben?
a lot.
No,
There's
What
not
if
a
we get
ton.
Lamar and Big Ben? That's the 1 and 2 spot.
But we also get Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown, yeah. I
All right.
feel like we got to save this spot.
So we're putting him 5. I am not saying it. If one of you want to say it out loud, you could go for it.
I'm putting Le'Veon Bell at 5.
Okay, so Le'Veon.
Fucked up.
All right, next name, Hines Ward.
Okay, 6. 6.
He does not like
He's
that.
a Hall of Famer.
Hines Ward is so tough because the longevity should put him at 2. But prime for prime, Hines Ward prime was not like top 5 receiver in the NFL.
So, Riv, this is prime for prime or just like at like career based?
I don't think.
It's AFC North. You make it what you
what's
want
the most yards
Yeah,
Hines ever
Hines
had in a
Ward's
single
not
He
a
season?
had
Hall of
13.
Famer.
He had 1,300. He had 6 1,000-yard seasons.
He's not a Hall of Famer, by the way.
But he's gonna make it
When
one
did he
day.
retire? What year?
He retired in 2011.
He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ. He won Super Bowl MVP.
Who do you think was better? Was he better than
Yo,
these guys?
Le'Veon was a better running back
Yes.
than
There's-
Hines Ward was as a
There's
receiver.
no way you can sell me on Le'Veon Bell meaning more to the Steelers than Hines.
Okay, yeah, I mean, fucking Super Bowl and shit,
Next,
sure. But we're
next.
just saying
Hines
player
Ward
for player.
6.
I think you're
I'm
gonna
not
outvote
hearing
him.
Hines
You're getting
Ward-
outvoted.
He's 6.
But who has a better Hall of Fame case, Hines Ward or Le'Veon Bell?
I don't care.
What are we talking
Go.
about?
I think you're getting outvoted here.
Okay, we'll put Hines Ward 6.
Next
We
name,
need some heavy hitters. I can't be put Le'Veon
Jamar
5.
Chase.
Okay.
2.
2.
Give it to me. Lamar Jackson.
Low-key, he could have.
Big Ben.
Low-key, Jamar
Should
Chase.
we
If we're
put,
just talking
should we
about
put,
career-wise,
should we
give him
put
a
Chase
6.
1?
Low key. Yo, he cooked.
Should we put Chase 1?
I would like to save the first spot.
No.
I hope it's not somebody.
too risky.
Because prime for prime, Jamar Chase is already above these guys, in my opinion.
He's cooking. He's
sure you want to
cooking.
put him at 1? I'm asking.
We haven't got a quarterback yet,
This
which
is
makes
crazy.
me think
It's
a
a
quarterback's
QB. This is
coming.
crazy.
But it
Yeah,
could be
but
Joe, it could be
it's
Joe
crazy.
Flacco.
There's one guy
This
that
is crazy.
there's just you,
What are we
you did a
thinking?
good job.
He could
Mind
say
you.
AB.
This
he
is
You
could
did a good
say-
job.
This is
Stick-
coming from the guy who said Mahomes wasn't a Hall of Famer because of longevity, but it's being used against Hines Ward.
I don't care about Hines Ward.
crying at
I just
that.
don't care about him.
You're doing a
Jamar
good thing.
Chase
Don't fuck it
at
up.
Jamar Chase at number 2 is crazy, bro.
So 1?
We,
Don't
so
fuck
we
it
got
up.
I mean,
two and
at
one.
one,
Don't
at
fuck it
one
up.
is crazy.
Okay,
fuck it up.
fine, 2.
Okay, 2.
We'll live with it.
You guys.
Andy Dalton.
I love that you guys did this. Last name up. Drum roll, please. Antonio Brown. That's why I kept telling you keep him at 2. Don't put Jamar at 1. So your final list was Antonio Brown at 1, Jamar Chase at 2, AJ Green at 3, Chad Ochocinco at 4, Le'Veon Bell at 5, Hines Ward at 6. I love it.
That's a great list.
This is your best list.
That's a
That's
great
why when
list.
you like Jamar 1, I'm like, don't do that.
Hines Ward at number 2 could have been valid.
No.
Yes, it
Jamar
could.
at 6. We would have been cool with that.
Pound for pound career, yes, he's at 6 right
I
now.
mean, Jamar clear.
Yo,
so
I'm not
Hines
gonna
Ward.
lie. Jamar's rookie season might be better than whatever Hines Ward ever did. No
Okay,
disrespect.
but it's
No
not all
disrespect,
about the
but Jamar's
rookie
like
seasons.
that.
It's longevity. We got to take that into account.
Hines Ward has a longevity.
he does for sure.
He's a legend.
He's a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah,
Steelers legend.
Do you have
Steelers
something?
legend. I do.
Okay.
I do have something.
What do you
So
have?
AFC North. Let's build the best team only using players from the AFC
I love it.
North. Okay. So start off with the quarterback position. Probably a 2-person race. Unfortunately, I don't have a vote in this, so I think I know where it's gonna go.
Lamar.
I'm building my team around Joe Burrow.
Well, I thought you were giving us names. I'm slow.
Well, we know.
AFC North players.
This
Got
is
it.
all time or just now?
It's either Lamar or Joe
if
Burrow.
you guys want to make things interesting, we could do all time.
We could do that.
No, let's just do now. Let's
Should I
just
do
build
the
best.
intro again?
No, let's just do now.
Let's do
I
2000
think you
and
did
now.
it great. I think it was a great intro.
Yeah. Listen, it's Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Unless you want to do the intro again.
If we're doing all time, I feel like I should do the intro differently.
Oh,
Then.
no, facts. We'll
Okay,
just
then
do
no.
current.
no.
We'll just do
Okay.
current.
So quarterback,
I got outvoted.
Joe Burrow.
running back. You got
Derrick
Derrick
Henry.
Henry. You got Nick Chubb.
Derrick Henry.
No,
Derrick Henry.
Nick.
Am I crazy for saying Jalen Warren?
Yes.
Moving forward?
Nick Chubb.
Moving forward?
Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb.
Jalen Warren.
Nick.
Jalen Warren.
Cut the
He was one of the most efficient backs in the
He's
league.
getting
Efficiency
outvoted.
immersion
Nick Chubb.
right
or
Last year
Derrick
he didn't play with a good
Henry. And this is
offensive line,
AFC.
and he was amazing.
Nick
He
Chubb in
wasn't
the
bad. That offensive
AFC.
line wasn't bad.
You telling me the next 4 years who's going to be better, Jalen Warren
Yeah,
and Derrick
no,
Henry?
no,
Right?
we're
Nick
going
Chubb
Derrick.
in there?
In the
Derrick.
AFC.
I only say Derrick for the fact that Chubb they just get hurt. Like really bad.
I'm just saying, Nick Chubb in the AFC. He's
No,
been.
but like Derrick Henry's like an all-time, like he's
And this
one
is
of
a
the best
no-brainer.
running
It's
backs
Derrick Henry.
Okay, let's do it.
Fuck you.
Okay. Derrick
Okay.
Henry. So
How many receivers?
No, man.
let's do 3 receivers. So wide receiver 1.
Jamar.
Chase.
Jamar.
2 is Zay Flowers. And 3, I would go Coop.
Okay.
Over George Pickens.
I think
Yes.
Zay Flowers is going to be the better guy.
Okay.
T. Higgins.
Absolutely.
Or
I would put
Zay
Zay
Flowers.
T.
Flowers over
Higgins
T.
just had
Higgins.
a terrible
I'm good
year.
off T. Higgins personally.
Okay.
T.
I like
Higgins is a
Zay
50-50
at
ball
2,
merchant.
And
Coop
Zay
at 3.
Flowers just cost his team a trip to the Super Bowl.
And Zay Flowers is way more explosive, way faster.
We're all
better
comfortable
route
with Coop
runner.
at 3 though, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's perfect. Okay.
I mean, out of respect,
I
I
don't
would have
know.
Cooper
We
2.
put
I
Coop
would
at
have
2.
Cooper at 2.
It don't matter. We
Yeah.
can put
I
Coop
would
at 2.
personally
no,
have
those
Pickens
were
over
the three.
Zay, but
Those were the three.
Those are the 3
receivers.
guys.
Yeah, he
But I'll
right.
be honest, Jamar, Cooper, and Zay, I think they complement each other perfectly. That's
Honestly,
a perfect
that's
three.
a-
I
good
am going to
point.
vote for Pickens. He just had almost, what
outvoted.
did he have, 1,200?
But I do think that's a good point. If you're building a receiving core, Zay fits nicely alongside
All
Jamar and
right,
Cooper.
that's true.
Tight
I was
ends.
Andrews.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
easy.
it's easy.
Oh, unless we're
Or-
doing the injury
No, I'm going
stuff.
David
Njoku.
Njoku.
Oh,
I'm going
Njoku?
David Njoku.
I don't mind
Njoku.
either. I don't mind
David
either.
Njoku just had a better year.
He was hurt. Andrews was hurt.
Joku, I
With
can be
burns on his face.
moved. Facts.
He did have
Did-
burns
yeah,
on his
facts.
face. I'm fine with
I'm
Joku.
going to stay in the
Njoku.
The
front.
Damn.
Njoku breakout, people that have been waiting on the breakout for Njoku got rewarded
Burns
in
on
the
the
big
face
way,
shit
me
crazy
included.
this
I've been waiting on it, and he delivered in the big time
He
fashion.
delivered it into you. Huh?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
You
Hell
loved
yeah.
it, right? It felt amazing,
Hell
didn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
So you're going with Njoku over Andrews?
Yes.
Okay.
We can skip-
Offensive line.
Let's just take
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Browns over Cincy over.
So this isn't a
Easily.
vacuum. We're just not
Just
we're not
yeah.
going.
I don't
player
want to
for
do
player.
left
Cool,
tackle,
cool,
left
cool.
guard.
Cleveland.
The
Yeah,
Browns.
Cleveland.
Browns. Okay. Defensive line. This is a
Baltimore.
discussion.
No, Cleveland.
No.
Cleveland.
Browns.
Cleveland. I'm sorry.
Steelers.
Steelers are in that conversation. Alex
It's
Highsmith,
conversation.
T.J. Watt.
I'm fine with either.
I'm
I'll
going
take the Steelers
Steelers.
defensive
They have
line.
the best
I'm
defensive
fine with
player.
either. Secondary though, Cleveland.
I was gonna do linebackers next.
I'm sorry.
Linebacking core.
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
And then
The
secondary,
Ravens.
Cleveland.
The Ravens could have the secondary too.
Denzel, Emerson, Newsome. What are we doing?
Marlon Humphrey, Brandon
like,
Stevens,
what are we
Nate
doing?
Wiggins, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams.
Yeah, nah, they're dirty. They're dirty.
Kyle Hamilton.
Cleveland's was really fucking nice.
But so is the Ravens. Kyle
The
Hamilton's probably the
Browns
best
secondary
safety in the
didn't
game.
show up on the road.
That's fair.
Then
They got fucking gashed.
That's fair. That's fair. We can go Baltimore.
I'm
Baltimore?
a Kyle Hamilton guy.
Yeah, you should be. He's lit.
all right, and then lastly, head coach. Who do you want?
Mike Tomlin.
Stefanski, 2-time coach.
I'm
Arbo
going with Mike
doesn't-
Tomlin.
Arbo doesn't ring a bell.
Arbo.
They got some elite coaches. All four of
Yeah,
them,
I'll go
honestly.
Tom.
You can go for veteran vibes, Tomlin.
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 Okay. So your starting lineup is Joe Burrow at quarterback, Derrick Henry at running back, 3 receivers going to be Jamar Chase, Amari Cooper, Zay Flowers, tight end David Njoku. And then for position groups, Browns offensive line, Steelers defensive line, and Baltimore has the linebackers and DBs. Head coach Mike Tomlin.
I love that.
Weak, man.
It's a pretty elite team.
I love that.
All right, tough. I do have trivia, but I like how you guys kept yours AFC North oriented, so we can skip
cool.
over.
We have to make moves.
Yep.
Yep. That's going to do it for this episode 391. You guys can follow us on Twitter at PickAsidePod, on Instagram and TikTok at PickAsidePodcast. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.